Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to another stream. This one is going to be about Grabby Grab. We haven't had a full stream dedicated to Grab in a while, ever since earnings, quite frankly. And since then, the stock has fallen, I believe, 20%, something like that. I continue to be very bullish about the company. I continue to double down on my convictions. I bought more Grab today at $3.44. And what we're about to see in about a minute, I believe that's starting, is their first ever product event, which to me is really interesting because I've been through this rodeo a couple times with companies that were basically, people didn't care about them. They were discounted, and then the companies just switched their narratives, one of them being Palantir and then the other one being Robinhood. Both of them had product events to kind of reshape the narrative. And maybe, along with a host of other things that we'll talk about later, Grab is going down that route. Who knows? Maybe they're not. Maybe this event is going to suck. Not going to be anything interesting here. But maybe there will be. You never know when it comes to companies like this, right? You never know. The Grab is now trading at 45% cash. I still have my price target of $10 in the next 2 years. I think with a good macro, it can get there. But they have to be ruthless in execution. They have to be able to increase their EBITDA margins, which is the biggest concern. And yeah, they got to get people excited. And having a first ever product event, which I think we'll be hearing from the CEO live at an event like this, we've never had this before from Grab, that could definitely change the narrative. And I think the changing of the narrative right now is very important. Dexter right here, fellow Singaporean, he says Singapore HQ companies don't do things like this. I don't know that much about companies in Singapore, but from my relatively naive understanding of them, I've never seen these massive events for companies in Southeast Asia. Obviously, I'm very undereducated when it comes to a lot of these companies, but yeah, this surprised me as well. This really did surprise me. I did not think Grab would be having an entire event. And based on what Dexter says, a lot of companies don't do stuff like this in their region. This is what's happening right now for Grab. Sachin, also fellow Grabber. He is someone who got me into this stock as well and helped me with my due diligence a couple months ago. So shout out to you, Sachin. Thank you for being here. Hopefully we get something pretty cool here today in terms of the event. I have no idea what to expect, though. I really have no idea what to expect. Here's the hint they gave. This is Anthony Tan on Instagram talking about like some hints for the event, but I really have no idea what to expect.
Meeting flying strangers. Here's a teaser. Teenage meeting flying strangers. I'm just done at GrabX rehearsal. Our first ever product event. We'll unveil what these words mean tomorrow. Do look out for new product announcements tomorrow. We think that it will help make your life so much better. See you.
I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. We don't really hear from Anthony Tan like that. So for him to be getting ready to be on stage and, have his little Carp Vlad moment where they're on stage, all eyes are on them. They're announcing their new paradigmatic approach to what they're going to be introducing from a product perspective, which is really important when you're a tech company. I don't know. Maybe this is a narrative changer for the company. I think the GoTo acquisition is really what's going to change the narrative if they get there. But if they're going to innovate and start rapidly outcompeting their customers and hype up these events, I don't know, dude. I've been through it twice. Things usually tend to change when this stuff happens, especially when the numbers get better. The numbers on Grab are the reason I invested. The numbers are, in my opinion, very exciting in terms of their inflections on profitability, free cash flow, and EBITDA or adjusted EBITDA. But yeah, these types of events also really help with morale and getting people excited as well. Also, I mean, in the context of the stock, thank you everybody for being here, by the way. The stock has been dead money for the past couple of years. Those employees, I'm sure, are also, not as motivated as they were if their stock was at a higher level. So I think for everyone, this is going to be really important. All right, I think we're getting started. Here we go.
Welcome to GrabX 2025. You can clap, you can cheer. We have no rules this morning, just one, which I will share with you in just a while. Once again, my name is Joachim Gomez, and a big greeting to you if you've flown in. And before I address you, my live audience, I do want to say hello to you watching us on YouTube. thank you so much for spending your Tuesday morning with us. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be with us here today for GrabX 2025. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're from Singapore, I should be of no stranger to you. If you're not from Singapore, let me just give you a very short introduction about myself. I am a radio DJ with 987, a Singapore hit music station, and I'm also a professional MC. But I think that's the least important part of my resume this morning. What's most important is, just like you, I am a Grab consumer. I am a heavy Grab consumer. I'm swimming. I think it's the Grab team cheering. I am swimming in rewards points, and I never thought I'll get to do this publicly to Grab nonetheless. But whoever here made Grab for business a thing, thank you very much. And here's why. I'm not too sure how you do it around your region, but back then, the painstaking days of every Singaporean office, you had to print out your taxi receipt. You had to glue it on a piece of paper. You had to sign it. You had to give it to your boss. Your boss signs it. You had to submit it. And then you wait 2 months for your claims to be processed. With Grab for Business, it has saved me so much time because every single ride I take for business, if it's with my company, I can claim it on the spot. And thank you very much, Grab, for that, for saving time and also that posture in front of a computer. So this is very much what Grab is all about. I think all of us here in this room, and to you watching on YouTube as well, we've seen Grab grow from more than just giving you transport. There's Grab food now, Grab business, Grab this, Grab that. So if I'm bold enough to say, they will never rest on their laurels. They are looking to give you more. And this is why all of you are here this morning today at GrabX. I only have one question to ask of you right now, and I can only hope the answer is a resounding yes. Take the hint. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us here at JW Marriott's Ballroom, are you ready for GrabX 2025? Beautiful. I love the energy. Enough from me. Let's get this morning officially started. I think it's only right that the very first person to set the tone and address you, we bring the man up himself. It's the co-founder and CEO of Grab. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Anthony Tan.
All right, Anthony, we don't hear from him often. It looks like he's going to begin building his brand more. And so we're hearing from him today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to GrabX, our first ever product event. We have an exciting lineup of innovations just to show you today. And it's innovations we've created with our user needs right up front and center. To kick things off, I want to introduce you to someone who embodies what GrabX is about. Someone on the front lines who truly understands our partners and making a real difference for them. There's none other than one of our top performing account managers. Here's a conversation between Mai and a merchant that's going through a pretty tough time. Maya is helpful, fast, and proactive. She gives great advice. And most importantly, she cares. She has so much empathy for our partners. It's no wonder our merchants love her. But here's the twist. Maya's not human. She's our AI merchant assistant, a clear example of how AI can be applied to create truly game-changing benefits for our users and partners. I'm fully committed to this. In fact, last year, we embarked on an ambitious company-wide initiative, our GAI sprint, to accelerate all of Grab to embrace GAI. Because in this world, you either disrupt or be disrupted. So we chose to disrupt ourselves. For 9 weeks, we paused business as usual to immerse ourselves in generative AI. We trained every grabber, cleared space for innovation, and focused on projects that would deliver step change impact. One of which was the AI merchant assistant, a product that's especially close to my heart because I had the privilege of building this with a team during GAI Sprint. Now, what's even more important is that while we put AI at the core of how we work and what we build, we must never lose sight for who we're building for. Our philosophy is AI first with heart. Instead of just asking, how do we scale 10x with the same resources, we start with a very different question. What are the problems that our communities face that we can solve X times better with AI? That's a common theme you'll see cutting across many of the products and features we're introducing at GrabX today. And we see our AI first with heart approach as being both crucial to our business and for our mission to uplift the communities we serve in Southeast Asia. AI first with heart is how we'll push bolder ideas, solve harder problems, and serve more people in leaner, faster, and more novel ways. The next clip I'm going to play for you underscores this commitment.
Help! Stop the car! Let me out!
This isn't a real recording, but it is something that could happen in rides, even if rare. Now, many of you know our story. We started Grab 13 years ago to really help and make mobility rides safe, especially for women and children. We've relentlessly pursued that mission, implementing industry-first solutions like ride tracking and many other safety measures. We've seen great results. In fact, today, 99.99% of all our rides and deliveries are incident-free. But even one incident is way too many. We always ask ourselves, can we do more? With the advancements in AI, the answer is absolutely yes. Large language models can now analyze in real time audio and sentiment, like the cry for help you just heard. When incidents happen, even if rare, we study each and every one to understand what happened and whether there were any signs of danger. We then use those insights to train our AI models to detect trouble in a car, such as a heated argument or tires screeching or any sounds of distress. With the help of AI, we're pushing the boundaries of safety innovation even further. Safety used to be about tracking numbers on the back end, or about how many incidences we could have prevented. But now, safety is literally about being able to respond to an individual's voice. It's about real people with real voices. When they need help, we can intervene in real time. This is what it means for Grab to be AI first with heart. But we know we can't and shouldn't even try to do everything alone. We're not building foundational models. But here's the thing. Even the smartest AI models need to be trained with quality data. It needs to know about our region, Southeast Asia. That's where we come in. That's why we are co-creating with world-class AI partners. And I'm very excited to announce today we're deepening our partnership with OpenAI and welcoming Anthropic as our new strategic partner. By working with the two of the world's leading AI research organizations, we will push the boundaries of their models, fine-tune them with our unique insights and data insights, and include those that we have built over the years by serving millions and millions of users and partners across Southeast Asia every day. Together, we are building frontier AI applications to empower our communities. In fact, we're embracing agentic AI, the next evolution in generative AI, to unlock new possibilities for our driver and merchant partners and help them plan smarter and ultimately earn more. The AI merchant assistant you saw earlier is a great example. It's like giving every merchant, no matter how small, a COO, a CMO, a CFO, even a life coach, available on demand, on their fingertips, 24/7. Looking ahead, emerging technology will continue to open up new paths, even when we can't imagine it today. But the core essence of Grab, what Grab is really about, will always stay the same. We're about driving innovation, even invention that's rooted in solving real user societal problems. Problems we uncover by immersing ourselves in ground truths, in the bustle of wet markets, on the back of habal motorbikes, deep into tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which require multi-modes of transport just to get there. Because we know the best products are not built behind screens. They're built by listening. They're built by getting close to the people we serve. This is our core DNA, to solve real problems for real people. And that's what we hope to show you today at GrabX, but not just today, for the many years to come. We appreciate all of you partnering with us on this journey, one innovation at a time. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Anthony Tan. Now, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Loads of phones were out, loads of pictures and videos being taken. Just a friendly reminder, don't forget the hashtag of the day is hashtag GrabX. Now that the tone has been set, the bar has been set as well, the next person I'm going to bring up on stage, his team and him as well, responsible for all the many innovations, the breakthroughs, and your user experience with Grab. He's going to be guiding you through the purpose of why GrabX is happening this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please welcome Grab's Chief Product Officer, Mr. Philip Kendall.
Hello, everybody. I'm Philip, and I really want to thank all of you for being here with us today, both in person as well as for those of you joining us online. Welcome to our first ever GrabX. Like many of you, I have many different roles in my life. During the day, I'm Chief Product Officer at Grab, and I work with our teams to make our user experiences a little bit better each and every day. At home, I'm a husband to my wife, Lena, and we love going on dinner dates, as well as exploring all the beautiful corners of Southeast Asia we haven't seen yet. And in my free time, I love mentoring startups and help them push the boundaries of innovation. So I think you all get it. We're all juggling multiple roles throughout the day, right? You could be a parent, you could be a teammate, or a good friend. In the morning, you're rushing to get your kids to school. Then you need to go to an urgent business meeting. And in the evening, you're just looking for a delicious meal that's affordable and within your budget. So our needs change many times, all within the same day. And we truly get it, because that's the same life we live every day ourselves. And so, you might have guessed it, the theme for today's GrabX event is for every you. Thank you. And that's why I'm so excited to introduce you to all the great new features that we've built to enhance our ecosystem and that we've designed to support those many yous. So let's dive in, and let's start with the family you. So last week, I was invited to an Eat gathering. It was a great honor for me to be invited. And it struck me in Southeast Asia how family is really about the much wider community. It's about your loved ones, it's about your friends, and the people who support you each and every day. And the other thing that struck me is that food is much more than a simple meal. It's a way to show love and care for each other. So now, to imagine you're hosting one of these large gatherings at your place, your family is arriving, but the food is either cold, it's not there yet, or worse of all, it's not coming at all. We know in those special moments, we can absolutely not let you down. Unfortunately, in the past, that has happened much more than we like. So what happens if it's a very large order, a driver partner shows up at the merchant, and they realize they just simply can't carry it all, and they would cancel an order. So what we need to do is we need to really get good at predicting when something is a large order. So I'm excited to announce our first product today, which is made to make gatherings and large group hostings more seamless than ever before. We do that by leveraging generative AI to detect if an order is large. And once we know that an order is large, we know we must handle it differently than the other orders. So let me give you an example how this looks like in practice. So behind me, you can see 2 receipts of orders. Can you tell which ones require 1, 2, or more delivery partners? At first glance, it might look easy to you, but imagine that our system has to make these decisions millions of times every day and across more than 175 million items in our catalog. And the true challenge is we do not know the dimensions, the weight, or even how the restaurant is planning to package it all together. Now, with generative AI and the basic information that we do have, our system can confidently determine if something is a large order. And as you might have guessed, the shorter receipt was actually the much larger order. And once we've classified it as a large order, our system automatically tries to allocate a car, which has the capacity, or if that's not possible, we split it across 2 or more motorbike delivery partners. All of this is to absolutely make sure that we deliver your order without any hiccups. And we also dispatch both of our drivers in a way that the food arrives roughly at the same time at your place. These improvements are already live across all of Southeast Asia, so you can confidently order on Grab Food the next time you host a large gathering at home. The family you is not just about these joyous celebrations and meals. It's also really about the day-to-day and taking care of your loved ones and the logistics and planning involved in that. So we did launch Grab for Families late last year. We saw a lot of people join Grab because of it. In fact, over 20% of our Grab family users are new to Grab and signed up because of it. People have added their spouses, their parents, cousins, friends, and even their helpers. They're booking rides, paying for each other, but also they keep each other safe by sharing their ride details and tracking them. Personally, I'm a power user of this feature and use it with my wife all the time. In fact, 2 weeks ago, it really saved my life. So I've seen during my workday that my wife booked a ride to a hair salon. So in the evening, I could confidently congratulate her on a great new hairstyle, and it's earned me really good husband points. And at home, I was a hero for a few minutes. But with all those great features, there's one group we haven't been able to add before and serve. So today, I'm excited that teenagers can now, for the first time, be part of Grab for Family. And that's truly a first in Southeast Asia. And our lead product manager for Family Account, Bern, will share a little bit more.
Hi everyone, kamusta? I'm Bern, lead product manager for Grab for Families. Growing up in the Philippines, I was that fun teenager. Always had some place to be. School, drum lessons, and late nights gaming at an internet cafe. I was always stretching my 8 p.m. curfew. Now my Nokia phone was always out of battery. My family would be so mad at me that once I get home, they'd scold me. What if something happened to you? Where will we find you? And once, they even greeted me with a stick. Now teenage me would roll my eyes. But honestly, I was scared too. Because even if I managed to catch the late night public transport, I would still have to walk parts of the way home alone in the dark. And that's why building the teens experience was personal to me. We built features I wish I had back then. Now looking back, I know if I had these features, I wouldn't be so scared of going home alone. And my family would also worry less. I believe so much in the teens experience because teenagers deserve to move around freely and safely. And parents deserve the peace of mind to let them.
Yes, it's really cool. The team worked really, really hard on this. So listening to the story that Bern just told us, we know there's a need for safe, trackable transportation for teenagers across Southeast Asia. And now, for the first time, teenagers can onboard to Grab and have their accounts linked to their parents. So you can book a ride for them or even let them book a ride by themselves. Your teenagers will only be picked up by specially vetted drivers, and there's a bunch of additional safety features which we've developed to protect your teenager. First, there's right pin verification. So that ensures that your teenager will always get into the right car. And second, there's also audio protect turned on. It's a safety feature that's exclusive to Grab and is already proven to prevent many incidents from happening. And we're working on the next generation, which Anthony referenced earlier, which uses generative AI to detect any altercations in the car in real time, and it allows us to intervene before anything happens. And most importantly, you can always track your teenager's ride in real time and receive updates from the beginning to the end of the ride. So look out for all of those teen experiences rolling out across all of our markets starting in May. Next, let's switch gears to the solo you, the moments when you're on your own.
All right, so the first product, the way I'm seeing it is, well, the first one was like the large, what do you call it, orders, how to like deliver the large orders. The second one is kind of like this family-oriented thing. Kind of, I think Uzi said it best in the chat right here. Like Robinhood has these family accounts, joint accounts, like they're really trying to deepen the moat for a family that has multiple people using Grab. So far, I mean, look, my thoughts on presentation, not the best. This is their first product event ever. I don't expect it to be that amazing, kind of boring, not really that exciting, but the substance of the content is what I care about and ultimately how that could impact earnings. And so far, some of these products are not like game changing in my opinion, but they're not bad products either as well.
Imagine this is you. You're rushing a project and there's nothing to eat at home and you don't have time to step out to a restaurant to get food for yourself. So you do open the Grab app and you start to browse. But sometimes it's a little bit hard to find a single meal option that's within your budget, that hits the minimum order value. And then even if you find something, you start thinking, should you pay the delivery fee for a single item? And after like 10 minutes, you give up frustrated. Being on your own should never be an inconvenience. And it should not limit the options that you have. And let me be very clear. We are going to fix this for you with not just one, but with two innovative solutions. So I'm really excited to introduce Sinvei, our head of business for deliveries, who's going to walk you through the innovations for the solo you.
Thanks, Philip. Hi, everyone. My name is Sinwei, and I lead the deliveries business here at Grab. Thanks for being here today, and I'm here to share with you two new solutions that we have for the solo eater. So on a personal note, I have two small children, so I actually really look forward to eating alone. But whether or not you're eating alone out of necessity or by choice, I also know that the really important thing is to feel good about the choices you're making and good about yourself when you eat by yourself. So you want something that's simple, but also satisfying. You want it to be delicious, but also kind of healthy. And most importantly, it has to fit within your budget. But these seemingly simple meals come with a mental load of scrolling, deciding, calculating. And in reality, you end up putting a bunch of things into your basket. You might delete them. You try a few merchants. And then you give up. And then you make yourself this familiar friend, a bowl of instant noodles. And we really want to solve this for you. So I'm so excited that today we've finally made it super easy to eat alone with the launch of Grab Food for One. With Grab Food for One, we are working with our merchants to curate, and in many cases, to create special meals for solo eaters. These are single portion meals, many local favorites in there, and you get them at very affordable, all-in price.
Okay, so this is cool. So to me, as an investor, I'm thinking what drives more deliveries and more engagement in the product, which ultimately leads to more revenue, net income, all that stuff. And if they're working with partners to get specialized prices for just one person instead of a group of people, I mean, like, yeah, theoretically, that should drive more orders. People are already using the app every day, and obviously that could definitely lead to more momentum on the delivery side.
Prices. So for example, in Singapore, you see a lot of meals in the $6 to $8 range. And in Indonesia, you can get a solo meal for 17,000 rupiah. You'll find GrabFood for One on your GrabFood homepage in a tile. Just tap on it and browse through a full list of meals available in your location.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. If Uber Eats or DoorDash had something like this, like something that's less than $12 or whatever, or $10, I mean, yeah, it would be more enticing to click on something quick and then pay $5,500 for delivery and tip and all that stuff. But still, like getting something where the options are cheap and you can easily order it within a couple minutes or within 30 minutes, I think is not a bad idea at all.
There's no small order fee, just a small fixed delivery fee. Choose your meal and check out in a single click. It's that simple. Now you can continue to power through your project or enjoy some me time, knowing that you have a hot meal on the way and you got a great deal on it. GrabFood for One is live in all markets this week, so please give it a try.
All right, there you go.
I have one more product to share with you. And this is not about getting a full meal, but it's just about getting a little snack or pick-me-up when we are on this long journey that many of you know between lunch and dinner time. And I don't know about you, but sometimes around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I find myself at my desk. My finger is hovering over the order button. I've got in my basket milk tea, extra pearls, no sugar, less ice. And I kind of deliberate and decide if I'm willing to do this. And I tell myself, no, you can't do this, not just for a craving. And we all work in office buildings. And sometimes I imagine that there must be tens or maybe hundreds of people in the same building or on the same street going through this same internal struggle that I am. And wouldn't it be great if we could find a way to coordinate our orders and save on the delivery fee? Well, we've found a way to bring you just that and minus the guilt. So this is the exact idea behind our new product, Shared Saver. With Shared Saver, you see other people's live orders near you. You can join their order and you can...
Bro, this is kind of like Grindr. You can see how many people are near you. I read up on when I was reading through the app. So like that's kind of cool. You can see orders around you and then work with them to do a group order. That's actually really kind of cool.
Add your item, no matter how small the value, and share their delivery fee. It's kind of like a group order, but with a twist that kind of changes the way that we now think about delivery. It's a group order, but with strangers. Or perhaps...
Yo, imagine finding the love of your life because you both ordered boba. Like, could you imagine that? Like, you're in the same building. She's on floor 5. You're on floor 7. You both ordered boba. I mean... And then the pickup line's pretty easy after that. It's like, I got some other balls that could go to inside your mouth, you know. But anyway, let's get back to the event. But like, I think there's a way that this could really play out effectively for people.
Perhaps just friends you haven't met yet. When you fire up the app, you see a carousel here, Shared Saver. Scroll through the options to decide which merchant you want to tag along with. And I guarantee you, there'll probably be a bubble tea merchant somewhere in there. Just make sure to place your order before the timer runs out. Now you might be thinking, how do we even get these orders started in the first place? Well, we are making it possible for anyone to choose to broadcast their order to nearby foodies. You might have to wait a little while longer to get your order, but you get a lower delivery fee if someone joins in. And once you decide to broadcast your order, it shows up here in this carousel. The other way is that Grab uses AI to determine if there are existing orders already in the system that can be turned into Shared Saver orders. Perhaps they're in high-density locations or they're at merchants that prep food really fast. And we will show those orders in this carousel as well. Shared Saver is being rolled out across Singapore as we speak and will hit our other markets very soon. So stay tuned and enjoy the snacks. Now I'll hand it back to Philip to tell us more about how we made these solutions possible. Thank you.
No, I actually really like this, bro. I really like this. This idea of like sharing the order with random people near you. I don't know if it would work in the US, but I think in Southeast Asia it could work.
So how do we make this work for our eaters who are looking for affordable options, for our merchants who are looking to protect their margins, as well as our drivers who deserve a fair compensation for their efforts? The answer to that lies in artificial intelligence, scale, and a little bit of operational hustle.
Okay, one thing is these guys are saying AI way too much. Like it's getting annoying at this point. Like they need to stop. Like the market's not going to give them an AI multiple anytime soon. So they need to stop saying that. But like, I believe they're using AI. They're just really saying it way too much here.
Behind the scenes, how we make it work is by batching multiple orders together. And batching is extremely hard because if you don't get it right, your food might arrive cold, late, or not at all. And AI helps us to find the most optimal way to batch these orders together. It takes into account various constraints and inputs. For example, the pickup and drop-off locations of all the orders involved, time constraints, vehicle capacity, how much a driver can carry. And across all of those, it creates efficient batches that optimize the experience for our driver partners and for our consumers. And it ensures your food arrives on time and piping hot. And this happens millions of times every day. And it's a true win-win-win solution for our users, for our merchants, and our driver partners. And we are extremely confident that we can deliver the best experience in Southeast Asia thanks to our unique scale and technology which we have. Now let's move on. My favorite you, the explorer you. So all of us are explorers in our own ways. And that's regardless whether you're visiting a completely new place, like in this picture where I'm visiting Cambodia with my wife, or if you're hunting down the best prawn noodles in Singapore. So let's start by hearing from an avid traveler, Belle, on what she's looking for when she's traveling to new places.
Traveling heals my soul, especially when I'm able to experience new cultures, meet the locals, and just try the local cuisine. I feel that the best way to experience a new city is through their local markets. But when you're in a completely new place, it's very hard to navigate with language barriers, unfamiliar streets, and more. Whenever I travel, the first thing I do is open my Grab app to look for good food nearby. The ratings help me so much in my decision process, and Grab knows food. So I'll open the app and I'll check out the ratings to decide where to eat nearby or if I wanted to order. It's also super convenient to book a ride, whether it's a Grab car or a Grab bike. It's fast and super reliable, and I don't have to figure out local transport. As a female traveler, safety is always top of mind. That's why I really appreciate Grab's safety features like Audio Protect, which adds an extra layer of security during my rides. On work trips, after long meetings, I always open my GrabFood app and I'll order GrabFood right to my hotel. And it's super convenient and very, very comforting as well. Oh yes, one thing I look for when I land is a hassle-free way to get out of the airport. Right now, what I do is that I'll book my ride right as I exit the airport.
Yo, she's cute, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It's mid after dark, bro. She's cute. She's cute.
But imagine if I can make this booking in advance. That would make things so much smoother. Wherever I go, Grab makes my travel experience smoother, safer, and a lot more delicious. Can't wait to see the new features Grab comes up with next.
So when you travel and explore like Belle, we really want Grab to be the perfect companion for the explorer in you. It should help you to navigate unknown places with ease, but it also should help you uncover all these great hidden gems all around you. That's why today I'm going to introduce 3 new tools to help guide the explorer in you. First up, airports. When I land at an airport, there's usually a lot on my mind. It's about going through immigration, keeping an eye out for luggage, as well as wondering, how should I exit the airport? Should I queue up for a taxi, or should I go with a friendly gentleman offering me 50% off a luxury vehicle? Well, you should take Grab, but I think you all know what I'm talking about. You've been there and you know it exactly. So booking ahead gives you one less thing to worry about when you land. So today, I'm excited to announce advanced booking for airport pickups. It's already live in 7 airports, and it's rolling out in many, many more. So you can schedule your pickup before your trip, and you know there's going to be a driver waiting for you at the other side, and you have one less thing to worry.
Okay, so to me, this is not a game changer. This is like not even worth a product announcement saying that you built something to help people order their rides quicker. However, I'm speaking from an American perspective where Uber and Lyft have had that for a long time. For any of the people in Southeast Asia in the chat, I mean, like, obviously these are features that have not fully migrated to the Southeast Asian experience of ride hailing. And so, yeah, they're relevant. They're important. They should increase engagement in the app, increase deliveries and overall ride hailing. But in terms of like the wow factor, you know, scheduled airport booking is not like the biggest thing in the world to me. But granted, speaking from a different perspective.
Flight delays are pretty stressful, and they happen a lot more than we like. But, you know, managing your pickup should not contribute to the stress. So what's so great about our advanced booking for airport feature is that the system tracks your flight status in real time. And it updates the pickup time based on your actual arrival time. So if you're late, you don't need to worry. The driver's going to wait there for you at the moment when you land.
This is pretty cool. I don't even know if Uber has this, to be honest. This is actually really cool.
And even if you're a little bit early, there's also nothing to worry. You can just push the I'm ready button, and the driver will be with you there very shortly. So basically, the only thing you have to worry when you land is to enjoy the rest of your trip. And also, to make your trips across Southeast Asia more affordable, convenient, and enjoyable, I'm also excited to announce that we've created a multi-country travel pass. You can purchase the travel pass for any country you're traveling to across Southeast Asia, even before you get there. And you get a bunch of vouchers for airport rides, general transport, food delivery, as well as dining out.
The Americans might eat this up. If I'm traveling to Vietnam and I can buy an entire voucher and then get 15, 20% off everything, when it's already costs, you know, like pennies compared to the United States, that could be something there. That could be exciting for tourism.
And if you're also a customer of our digital banks, traveling with Grab will become even more rewarding, with additional cashback and Grab rewards point when you spend on Grab services overseas. Whenever you're exploring a new city, or if it's just a new neighborhood in your hometown, a map is an incredibly useful tool to guide you around. And at Grab, we're one of the few on-demand platforms globally who have built our own map platform and technology tailored to Southeast Asia. And it's already today powering all of our services. So we do know maps, and of course we do know food. And I'm really excited that finally we're bringing the best of both of those worlds together to launch Dine Out Discovery powered by Grab Maps. So if you're a traveler and you're looking for the best hawker stall in Singapore, or you're just a foodie looking for the latest and greatest hot cafe in Bangkok, or you're simply exploring a new neighborhood, Dine Out Discovery will help you decide where to go and not just how to get there. It comes with a bunch of useful filters, for example, by district, by the cuisine, your food preferences, what's hot and popular, what's within walking distance, and my favorite features, trusted ratings from people who have actually eaten at the restaurant.
They should also have an advertising opportunity here. I mean, the whole concept of discovery on any platform is that whether it's photos on Instagram or restaurants, they pay to get a better position in the product. Advertising is like a $200 million per year business. I mean, if this is something a lot of people use, that could be good for more advertising revenues.
And once you find something you like, you can tap on the merchant and see details like accurate menus, the latest opening times, photos, as well as the user reviews I just shared. But it doesn't end there. When you and your friends have decided where to go, you can check if there's a deal. You can make a reservation, or you can book a ride to the restaurant, or you can also navigate there yourself using Grab Maps. And that's really how the power of our ecosystem comes together for you. And Dine Out Discovery is coming out in May.
Pretty quick. It'll be out in a month.
So many of you trust us already for transport, food, deliveries every single day. But we know and we realize that your needs are more complex. That's why we've taken really a deeper look how you move, eat, live, and work. We've uncovered many new opportunities how we can make your life a little bit easier every single day. And the features I've just shared, they reflect our commitment to serve you and build products for every version of you. Now, the only way how we can deliver all of those innovations is by making also sure that we empower our merchant and driver partners. So I'm very excited to launch our first 2 agentic AI solutions for merchant and driver partners. They're designed to be the intelligent daily companion and help them to achieve their goals. So let me invite Chris Collard to tell you a little bit more about our AI solutions for merchants.
This is important because a lot of Grab employs a lot of people in the region. So any tools they can build to actually make this more effective for their merchants, which quite frankly make their living off Grab, I think is really important.
Well, I'm Chris, and I'm super excited to share with you all today a product that we've been cooking for quite some time. But before we go into the product experience, let me share a bit of the background context. Across Southeast Asia, small businesses form an essential part of our communities. And in many conversations I've had, like with this merchant here in Indonesia, we've learned that oftentimes these smaller businesses, they don't have time to deeply analyze their business performance. And they don't have the resource to invest in new technologies, unlike larger companies. And that's why we are leveraging artificial intelligence to help level the playing field. So I'm super excited to share with you today that we are launching the Grab Merchant AI Assistant. It's a chatbot powered by large language models that's integrated directly into our Grab Merchant app that helps merchants with their daily tasks. So let's check out some of these flows. Say a merchant asks, hey, how can I increase my sales? The assistant has deep knowledge of each and every merchant listed on our platform, allowing it to come up with personalized recommendations. So in this instance here, you can see that the assistant realizes that the best-selling dishes of these merchants are seafood related. And as such, it will suggest the merchant to create a seafood campaign to help drive up business growth. Sometimes, for new merchants, they're kind of unsure how to do certain tasks on our Grab Merchant app, like, for example, updating operating hours. Imagine you are in this position and you have no idea how to do this. You have to figure it out and play around with the application yourself. Now, all you have to do is simply ask the assistant. It will seamlessly guide you through the steps you have to go through to update your operating hours, saving you a bunch of time. Now, unlike your typical chatbot, our assistant doesn't just wait around for questions to get asked. Instead, it proactively reaches out to our merchant partners, offering tips, tricks, and suggestions to drive up business growth.
Okay, so this actually is really important. This might get overlooked, but like my personal experience with Credit Karma, which is an app you guys probably know about, they have an AI assistant, but it never actually suggests or reaches out to me about how to like improve my credit or loans or anything like that. It's just me asking questions to it. And if they can make an assistant that genuinely understands your small business as a restaurant and can actually give you actionable advice that could then lead to better conversions, better growth, better advertising, etc. I mean, like this is something that should deepen their moat with their merchants that already depend on a majority of their business with Grab. So making this special for them, I think this could be, it's not the biggest product in the world, but it's definitely a game changer for merchant relationships.
So let's look at some examples. Say we have a merchant, and this merchant had a bit of a slow sales week. The assistant might reach out and proactively encourage this merchant to run a campaign to drive up business sales.
Okay, this is actually really cool, dude. Like most small businesses, you own a burger shop, you don't know how to come up with a 10% discount and then implement the campaign. But if you could do it all through the app and then just immediately send it out to everyone, I mean, that is pretty cool. That takes a lot of time away. It lets you get back to doing what you know best, which is making burgers, controlling your supply chain, not have to worry about the marketing, which drives revenue, which at the end of the day comes all the way back to Grab.
These campaigns can be executed within the assistant experience within one click. Sometimes our merchant partners forget to upload photos to dishes that they list on our GrabFood menu. In such instances, the assistant might also reach out and nudge these merchants to upload photo. And along the way, it will even provide some photo recommendations for the merchants, so that merchants can improve their menu to basket conversion. Ultimately, our goal here is simple. We want merchants to focus on what they do best, which is creating amazingly tasty, delicious food and memorable experiences for all of us, and let the assistant handle the rest by itself in the background. As of today, we rolled out the assistant across the region, and in the next coming weeks and months, we have a whole host of super exciting product features we'll embed directly into the assistant experience. Thank you so much. I'll hand back to PK.
I like that product a lot. I really do. For small businesses, I really think that could help them in the region.
Thanks so much, Chris. And I can attest to the fact that our merchants really love those features. So for our driver partners, every minute on the road counts for them. And that's why I'm really excited to launch our AI driver companion features. They're an in-app guided experience that offers them recommendations and assists our driver partners when in need. Every minute on the road ultimately is an earnings opportunity for our drivers. I was recently doing an immersion in Cambodia, and for me, the most stressful thing when delivering food is after you drop off your order and you wonder, where do you go next? Because you really don't want to be unproductive on the road and you want to continue to deliver orders and improve your income. And that's where our AI ride guidance features come in, because it's using both real-time as well as historical data to predict where demand is going to be highest, and it guides our drivers there with confidence to those hotspots. So it helps our drivers find their next job a lot faster, but it also keeps them safer because they can be attentive on the road and drive wherever they need to go. This means our drivers get more done in the same amount of time, ultimately improving their income for every hour that they drive with us. But it also helps us improve the fulfillment rates and hence keeping the prices down for our consumers. So it's one of those win-win-win solutions for everybody on our platform. Also, road conditions in Southeast Asia do change all the time, and it can be really challenging to keep on top of all of them. If our system doesn't reflect those changes in real time, what could happen is a driver takes the wrong turn and they're stuck in a construction or traffic jam. And they could lose easily an hour until they get their next productive job. Of course, our drivers are a great source for this on-the-ground intel. But having them submit written feedback would be neither safe nor productive for us to do. So that's why we introduced voice reporting. It's an AI-assisted tool that captures all the details that matter. So drivers can report things like traffic, they can report like map and routing issues, road work, closures, flooding, bad road conditions, and many more things. So let's take a look at a real example from a recent flood in Jakarta.
Di sini sedang hujan, jadi saya berteduh sebentar sampai hujan berhenti. Saya menunda mengantarkan paket dikarenakan sedang hujan, jadi saya berteduh dahulu sampai hujan berhenti.
Voice reporting asks follow-up questions to collect all the detailed information which we need in real time, and it alerts all the other drivers around in less than 10 minutes.
There's a diversion, cannot go further down. So take the main road and turn left to the main junction, then turn left.
Got it. Thanks for the update. I've reported the road closure and noted the alternative route. Drive safe.
So by giving all of our drivers the option to give us feedback, we make the experience so much better for everybody on our platform. And TalkBack, which you've just seen in action, would not have been possible without generative AI. So that concludes all the features that we're excited to launch today for our users, merchants, and driver partners. I have one more thing that I'm super pumped to announce. So here's the exciting news. If you're an early adopter like myself, or you're just a FOMO king or queen, I'd like to invite all of you to sign up to our Grab Early Access program, where you can test out our latest features before we're rolling them out to all of our user base. For being part of this journey with us, we deeply, deeply appreciate each closing.
Okay, cool. That's pretty much it. That's it. All right. Takeaways from the event. By the way, guys, futures are pumping, baby. We are green. Jim Cramer just said we should be going red. He just tweeted that just now. We are green, bro. Look at this. We're up 2% across the board. VIX is down 4%. Small caps, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, S&P all up. Nice little chunk. So, I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow, dude. I still don't know what to believe here, but I'm not selling. So whether we go up or down, I will be along for the ride. Okay, cool. In terms of my takeaways from this. So first of all, look, the presentation sucked. Just objectively, the presentation was not good. I didn't expect the presentation to be that good because it's their first event. Like even the guy being in a little corner with like everything else on stage was just like the wrong scaling of it. Anthony Tan in the beginning, super cringe. Why did you show the my Thai or my whatever AI assistant? Like there was no talking. We could just hear the text messages go back and forth. Like it was whoever coordinated or structured how they would present everything. They need to do a better job of that. It was not good. Now, granted, it's their first event. Palantir's AIPCon, the first one wasn't perfect. Robinhood's first gold event wasn't perfect, but this stuff, it takes time to get better at. What I took away from the fact that they even had the event was that they are willing to communicate with the public. They were willing to show off new products, new features, and they want publicity on the new things that they're ready to show to the market, which is encouraging going into the future. Again, Grab, still a relatively small company in the grand scheme of things, that I think could be $100 billion company in Southeast Asia. So this is, these are the things you do as it takes more time to get there. Also, the crowd was dead. Like, there were at least 15 different moments I felt that there should have been some clapping and there was no clapping. That's not on the people at the event. That's Grab. They didn't really do a good job of like making the energy in the environment to the point where people should be clapping in certain moments, right? So it just became awkward. So from a event perspective, it sucked. Like, the event was not good. This was not some exciting big event. However, I think you give them a pass there, right? Like, companies will figure it out over time and they'll get a lot better at that. The actual products themselves. So I have like 7 or 8 different products. I don't really have 5 products. That's another problem with presentation. Like, there should have been 5 different speakers for 5 different products, but you had one guy, the chief product officer, unveil like 4 products inside of his segment, and then you had other people. So it was kind of a mess in terms of how many products were there. But I got Grab for one, Grab Teenagers, the shared servers where you can fall in love with a girl who's on the 7th floor if you're on the 5th floor, if you both order boba, and then you can both order it together. The airports, the travel pass. So I'm up to what? That's 6 products. Dine Out Discovery, that's 7, and then the AI assistant for merchants with the drivers and the restaurant owners, that's 8. And then I think there was another one that I'm forgetting, but those are the main ones that I have currently right now. Yeah, Grab Teens, that's what they called it, Grab Teens. Look, I think all these products were good. The ones that there's 2 that stick out to me. Number 1 is the AI assistant for merchants and drivers. I think that's going to just lead to a better relationship that these merchants have with their with not only their customers, but also with Grab as a platform itself. From my research on Grab over the past couple months, they drive a lot of business, and they are the livelihood, the source of livelihood for tens of thousands of people in the region. And so, it's a $14 billion company, might not seem like the biggest company in the world, but in Southeast Asia, it is a big deal. And I think at this valuation, trading at 45% cash, the trajectory from the numbers and from the actual cost-cutting measures they've done, which have been very impressive, and from the overall top-line growth of the region in the underbanked population around financial services, we'll talk about that in a second, and the overall digital ecosystem that is developing in that region with more people entering the middle class. This is a no-brainer to me. Like, this product is only going to grow and become more and more relevant. And product days like this, that not a lot of companies in the region do, in which, yeah, the presentation I'm not the biggest fan of, but the fact that they're introducing what I'm counting as 8 different new products that appeal to different niches. As Nick says right here, you got network effects, you got flywheel effects, you got a lot of different stuff happening for a $14 billion company with $6 billion in cash. And so that to me is very exciting here. So the AI assistant for merchants, again, I think those small business owners, which I've listened to interviews of them in relationship to their experience with Grab, the number one thing, that's why I got so excited when they introduced this, is marketing. It's the hardest thing to do, right? Is market. Like, you can make the best burger in Vietnam, but how do you get people to know that you're the place to get the burger from? Well, that's where Grab is supposed to help. From an advertising perspective, from a suggestion perspective, if they can use their AI to say, hey, in this region, you can do this campaign because we've analyzed the food trend delivery orders of this people in this one city in Vietnam, and you can do a 20% discount. And you're probably going to lose some money on the burgers, but you're going to get more customers to be excited about just trying your restaurant for the first time. Like, all of that powered by AI, which is a real use case. Like, not a stupid use case, but like an actual way that translates to revenue for the business, which, by the way, bullish NVIDIA. But like, that is the stuff they need to be doing in a more serious way for drivers and for merchants. Also, the drivers giving that voice and audio recording about when there's issues in a road. Again, in the United States, that might not seem like that big of a deal, but in the United States, there's also not that many issues when you're driving. I say that, in a generalized format, but in Southeast Asia, you got some people saying FSD is going to come overnight. Like, no, FSD is not coming overnight. And then number 2, there's a lot of shit happening in the roads, and you need the sort of crowdsourced information. And if you can do it via voice and audio, and then that immediately impacts the other drivers that also, again, to make their living, need to deliver these orders, and that's how they get by in that region. That to me should only accelerate their productivity, which should lead to more deliveries, more ride hailing, etc., which leads to more revenue for them as a small business. So I really liked the AI merchants assistant product, and I thought that was one that stood out. And then the other one that stood out for me is this whole, well, I guess there's two here, right? The Grab for one I thought was cool. Even Uber and DoorDash, because of how expensive they are, they don't realistically offer what Grab for one was offering, which is this like very cheap meal that you can flat delivery rate that's not going to change based on whatever algorithms and variables they have, like DoorDash and Uber use. And immediately you press order and it comes to you, right? Like, so that I think should just drive more deliveries. Maybe Grab's not going to make a ton of margin on that, but again, that user engagement I think is going to be important. They might not have to spend a ton to acquire that customer either, so maybe that's where they make up for the margin. And then the shared saver, again, I really like that as well. That's like it's like a group chat for ordering food or boba or whatever with strangers. Which again, dude, in the United States, I don't know if that would work. I don't know if like we're a bit more individualistic here in the United States. I don't know if I want to share my order with someone to save a couple bucks. But in Southeast Asia, it's different, bro. The culture is different. The vibe is different. I know some people were saying like, oh, the AI with heart or whatever, which was their beginning of the presentation, that was a bit cringe. It definitely was cringe. But again, Grab is a culture, and Grab is from the studying I've done of the company, they kind of, they wear their heart on their sleeve, right? I know they're a business and businesses need to make profit and they're a corporation at the end of the day, but it's very oriented around the community more so than the individual. It's very oriented around how do they provide a livelihood for all the thousands of people that are using their product. And it's also about how do they become a household brand in the region, because politically, you know, like the government has to like you. And Anthony Tan is very well connected given his political background from his family. So making sure those things are intact honestly matter a lot more than shareholder value. And we've seen that over the past couple of years. You know, the shareholder value has not been there. My bet is just that the valuation is so ridiculous and the growth is starting to inflect that shareholder value will come after that. But shareholder value is not the most important thing in the region. Like the most important thing is actually the community. In the United States, it's different, right? Which is why everyone's pissed off at Trump right now, because shareholder value has been decimated to the tune of $10 trillion. But in Southeast Asia, it's just different. So I think that whole shared server concept can work. And I think that can only increase more sales, deliveries, overall like communication within the app. Maybe it increases marriages because you find your loved one, because I'm still on this fantasy of like that. That's literally where my mind went to. Someone said in the chat, a Disney movie. That's where my mind went. My mind went like, oh, what if you find your wife doing that? But yeah, maybe that can work and be effective. And then finally, this whole travel pass, dine out discovery, airport stuff. It looks like they're really targeting the tourist. Dine out discovery seems to be more tourist oriented because you need to discover new places to eat if you're not local. Travel pass seems to be very tourist oriented, foreign consumer oriented, right? Because you can just buy one pass and you can easily go. Like I was talking to some friends that paid like $2 for like a couple mile ride in Thailand. I mean, like it's dirt cheap. In the United States, that's like $20, right? So like when we talk about traveling, it is absolutely dirt cheap if you have US dollars to be able to shop in those regions and take rides and deliveries, etc. But if they can just make it one big flat rate and discount it massively and then sell that to people, I think that can also be very effective. And then the airport travel stuff, like, yeah, look, I don't think it's a big deal reserving your ride before you land in your airport. But if Southeast Asia doesn't have those features and Grab is innovating there, then obviously that's very important for the 700 million people that are in that region. Yeah, look at this. Uzi said, I spent $1.89 for a 20-minute ride. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. And, you know, that doesn't exist in the United States. So a lot of their revenue, or I don't know exact percentage, but a decent chunk of it, I believe, comes from increased tourism, which is actually one of the bear cases for Grab in the United States. If we have a recession, people just won't travel as much, which means they won't be able to use Grab. But still, that's important. And you know, traveling, it matters for Grab. I mean, if we look at the United States App Store, Grab in the travel category in the United States, where you can't even use the app because it's not relevant, is number 57. I mean, come on, bro. The top 200 in the travel category in the United States, these are literally just tourists downloading the app because they're traveling to Southeast Asia, because you can't use Grab in the United States. So the fact that it's in the top 100 for a product that is literally irrelevant in the United States, to me is telling that tourism happens through Grab in that region. And if they can make it even better for those tourists, that could be a significant source of growth for them long term as well. So yeah, look, those are my takeaways. I was bullish on this. I think the teenager stuff is also really good for them. I mean, more safety and more features like that to incorporate the family into the product is something that obviously they need to be doing. We know that teenagers are probably already trying to use the app for their deliveries, their ride hailing, all that stuff. So you might as well build an integrated ecosystem. And I think that can ultimately be something. It's an app you grow up with, right? Like if you've started using Grab when you're 15, by the time you become an adult, it's probably just ingrained in your DNA to continue using that product as well. So yeah, dude, look, the event was bullish. I don't know if the stock goes up tomorrow. I really don't care if the stock goes up. I think a lot of people are getting very emotional about the stock price right now. I get it. I mean, people are emotional about the entire market. I understand. But like, if you don't believe in the long-term thesis on Southeast Asia and believe in Grab's unique role in that region, then you should sell, right? Like, there's just nothing to get excited about. But this stuff, to me, even though the event was not the most exciting because they just have to work on their presentation, but the actual stuff they introduced, to me, it just screams ka-ching, 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 because I just see more and more people. They have 43 million people a month using this product. That's growing 20% year over year. I mean, they're going to get to the 60 and 70 and 80 of millions of users over the next decade. And that is going to be something that I think is a lot more valuable than 14 billion bucks. One other thing is they didn't talk about, here's the futures right now, everything going green. NVIDIA's up 2%, S&P's up 2%, Palantir's up 3%, everything's green right now. They didn't talk about financial services, which is one thing I didn't really expect for them to talk about, but it would have been nice to see an update on that. So no unique product update for financial services. That is growing at about 40% right now. It is growing like gangbusters. And there are, I believe, 700 million people in the Southeast Asia region, but about 400 million of them, or 350 million of them, about half, are underbanked. AKA, they pay everything with cash. They don't have any credit. They haven't built up any relationship with financial institutions. I mean, if you just look at the Q4 earnings and you read the transcript of what management said about financial services and how many people are growing, the deposits, etc., it's incredible, dude. Like I every time like I look through that part of the product, I'm like, this is a gem in the business that is $27 million away from being profitable on an adjusted EBITDA basis, which, you know, they're guiding for 2026. I think that happens by the end of the year, or at least it gets very close to becoming break even soon. And it's growing. And you got a lot of money coming in from deposits and a lot of people that traditionally don't know how to engage with the financial system that are being introduced via Grab. And what's also really amazing is that their delinquencies is under 2%. So they've been able to, and this is another use case for AI, they've been able to use artificial intelligence in their lending models to be able to meaningfully increase their loan output, which is up 64% year over year. I think they have about a little bit over $500 million in loans dispersed, and make sure that their defaults and delinquencies have not been anything egregious to the point where they would have to meaningfully slow down their growth. So yeah, I think this is good. I think this is strong, and hopefully we continue to see product updates like this. Realistically, for the investors here, Q1 earnings, which is probably in a month on Grab, is going to give us a much better understanding of like the substance of the business. But this is good stuff for the future, and obviously I expect them to continue to grow double digits as they keep innovating. Dexter, who is from Singapore, shout out to Dexter. He says there was an incident with a competitor financial services in Singapore. Perhaps they want to dodge the skeptics on it. Yeah, that's fair. If that's in the news right now, they might not want to be talking about it as easily. Now, and here's the final thing I'll say is that GoTo, right? The acquisition. So look, I don't know if it's going to happen, but if the rumors are true that they're taking out a $2 billion loan, I don't think you take a $2 billion loan because you just want $2 billion. Like, I mean, if you have freaking $6 billion in cash, I don't know why you're taking a $2 billion loan. And then number two, there's just been multiple reports over the past couple months from various sources that the talks are very serious. GoTo is not really making a profit. Grab's margins are getting crushed by competition. It makes sense for everyone if they were to merge. And for Grab, it would instantly put them in the 30% growth category. They would bring in 1.2 billion of revenue. They would bring in another 100 million users. I mean, they would immediately catapult, in my opinion, to the point where the street is basically saying, holy crap, like this is going to become one of those companies that we think it can become. Right now, they're doing it on their own, and they're doing a pretty damn good job at this rate. But I think they can quickly accelerate that progress if they were to merge with GoTo. So we're going to see. We're going to see if they can figure it out. Obviously, this is the fun of being on a journey. I know the Grab community is not really as big as the Palantir community or the Robinhood community, but this is fun because it's like, who knows? I think in the next couple of years, this thing can get closer to $10. Maybe I'll be right. Maybe I'll be wrong. Obviously, Robinhood, Palantir surprised all of us and like did multiple orders of magnitude above initial price targets. I don't think Grab is going to be like that, but I do think it'll be a slow grind where they can surprise me by doing product days like this. User growth should be strong. They're going to be net income positive, I think, consistently for the rest of their future. They have 2 quarters of net income profitability sequentially. I think that'll continue. I think free cash flow is going to start being a monster. Adjusted EBITDA growth is very strong. User growth is very strong. Financial services growth is very strong. At this point, it's a narrative issue with Grab and a share count issue. There's 4 billion shares outstanding. So that's my thing. If you're not acquiring your stock at these valuations and you have 6 billion in cash, it's because you're gearing up for something else. And to me, the only thing I can believe as an investor is that they're gearing up to buy up another company, because there's just no way you don't issue a massive share buyback at these levels if you don't have any other plans with the capital. So I think that could be narrative changing, but I also think in general, they just need to create more excitement around the product and the app. And look, that's why you take a risk as an investor, right? Maybe Grab goes to nothing. Maybe it stays stuck at $4 for the next couple of years. I think it's already been stuck at $3-4 for the past 3 years. So hopefully we're getting into the very end of this kind of consolidated base, but you never know. And that's the fun part about being an investor. That's what gives you the highs, right? Of chasing something that you think can become big, but that's what also humbles you as well. So I don't know what happens with the stock over the next couple of years. Obviously I'm bullish, but what we heard today does not make me any more bearish in terms of what we're seeing here. One thing I will say though, is if you buy this stock, you have to be very, very bullish long-term about emerging markets, which means you want some diversification outside of the United States. And then you are uniquely bullish about Southeast Asia. And when I was really doing my due diligence at the end of November into the end of January, those like initial 3 months, it was pretty much about the region. It was like, why would I not want to be invested in Uber? Why would I not pick Lyft? Why would I not pick the European version of Uber? Like, why am I going to Southeast Asia? And there's a lot of things that attracted me about Grab, along with the founder, all this stuff. But like that region is a double-digit journey over the next decade of expansion in terms of people that are signing up for financial services, people that are joining the middle class. It kind of reminded me of India without all the problems that India has. It's a more modernized overall region. And the region is starting to spend. Here was the best stat I found. I'm gonna butcher the exact type of stat, but by 2030, I believe the stat was 85% of the 700 million people will be connected to the internet via smartphone. And so that was one of the stats I was just like, okay, so when you're on a smartphone, you need entertainment, you need transportation. You obviously need goods and products, aka your food, your drinks, whatever. Like you need these different things when you're in that digital ecosystem. If Grab is one of a handful of apps, if not the only app, that becomes the core brand that people associate with their digital experience, and the stock's trading at damn near 50% cash, like at some level, is there an asymmetric opportunity there? And that's what attracted me to it. The valuation, along with the fact that I think the double-digit growth in Southeast Asia over the next decade, like you're not going to get that type of similar growth in the Western parts of the world because they're already so developed, right? The time to invest in Uber, honestly, was not even when it was a public company. The time to invest in it was in their Series A, Series B, Series C. Their IPO was a kind of a disaster. The real momentum on Uber came if you bought during COVID, when it fell to like $20. But outside of that, Uber stock has not been that excited, right? And neither has Grab stock. But I think Grab has a way stronger growth trajectory than Uber within its own boundaries, because the region is just so big in Southeast Asia. Yeah, Southeast Asia is also a smartphone first consumer. People have smartphones and no computers, laptops. That's also very similar to India. A lot of people just get everything done through smartphones, which is why payments is exploding so much in India in particular. I mean, people don't even pay with cash anymore. When I was in India in October, like people buy street food off the street, literally with their phone, right? They scan an app to a merchant. Grab also has something called Grab Payments. I mean, there's so many different ways where I think this thing becomes a legit monopoly. It's not there yet, even though people would think of it as a monopoly. I don't think the numbers prove that it's a monopoly yet. They need to really show they have pricing power, margin expansion, etc. But I see this as one of the better stocks that can get to my price target in the next couple of years over some of the other stocks that are out there. But given this market correction, I mean, obviously I can understand people who don't give a shit about Grab because Nvidia is at 97, right? Like there's obviously a lot of opportunities, even Robinhood at 36. Like there's plenty of opportunities to get excited about if Trump doesn't implement these tariffs, which is still yet to be known. Cool. Those are my thoughts on Grab. Anyway, do we want to just like stay up for the next 7 hours and get into the market open? Is that, you guys want to just, I got a lot to talk about, dude. I got 8 hours worth of content. I got plenty of stuff to talk about. We could, we just, the NCAA basketball finals were tonight. Really? Hold on. Was there a game today? No, there's no game today. It's like later, right? No, it's next week. Oh, wait. Is it? Wait, the championship was tonight? It was Florida and Houston. Right? Hold on, was it? Yeah. Okay, do you guys want me to tell you who? Oh, you guys know it already. Okay, Florida. Yeah, Florida won. Wow, 65-63. Dude, that must have been a close game. I saw the Houston-Duke one, or I saw the last part of the Houston-Duke one. Damn, I didn't even know the NCAA championships were tonight, bro. I was watching freaking Grab's live event. I had no clue the game was tonight. I feel like I should have known this, even if I'm not a big guy in like sports culture or whatever. Damn, dude. I was literally staring at them announce shared servers versus seeing an exciting game that Houston won by 2 points. Oh, no, Florida won, right? Who won this thing? Yeah, Florida won. Wow, Florida beat Houston. All right, well, Houston had a good run. I mean, they got through Duke, but there you go. Florida wins the championship for the NCAA. I really didn't know. I didn't know it was live. I did not know. I'm going to lock Amit in a room for 6 months and will only allow him to watch sports. Dude, I used to love sports. I used to really love sports, but obviously sports has taken a back seat to stocks. Amit, are you still moving? Yeah, dude. Like the plan is still to move. I don't know why people think the plan is not to move anymore. Yes, I know the market has had a correction, but that doesn't mean the plan has changed to move. Like that is still on the docket. It is just really, really hard to do apartment shopping based on how picky I am. That's all. But I have a couple months left, so I'm hoping to find something, by the end of June, hopefully. But I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where if I really don't find what I like, then I'm just gonna have to settle on something different. I'm aiming for the stars though. I want a really nice spot near New York City, and I want it to have everything that I wanted to have. And I'm really picky about it, but I feel like if I'm paying as much as I'm paying, I should be picky about it. I just don't know if I'm going to get what I want. Not even because like it's not available, but because every time I try to get it, it's immediately taken up. So it's just a really competitive market to try to get what I'm explicitly looking for. So maybe I pay a little less and don't get everything I want, but right now my hopes are still something good. So yes, the agent, no, he just hasn't sent me any good stuff yet. He sent me a couple of places, but I didn't like any places he sent yet. I feel like I know every single apartment available in the region I'm looking for. I just haven't been able to find the one that I want. And the one that I found that had really had the right view that I've been looking for, like I really want a skyline view. It was just like, it was not a luxury apartment. It was like, it was a good apartment, but like, just like the building itself, it didn't have really the amenities, all that stuff. It didn't have like, the other stuff that I cared about. So this is hard, bro. Moving is hard. It's never been easy, especially if you're, trying to find your first official place by yourself. So I expect it to be hard, but the goal is by the end of August to officially still move. And hopefully that ends up playing out. I don't want a house because I don't want to make a down payment on a house. I'd rather have that money in the markets compounding. I also am going to be traveling a lot the next couple of years. And that's another reason I'm moving in August, because in the summer I'm traveling so much. It's no point to even get the apartment in June or July. But I'm going to be traveling a lot the next couple of years. I can already realize what my schedule is looking like. So if I'm not going to be there, like there's no point of really owning it. I think in the next couple of years, when I'm in my early 30s, I think that's when buying a property makes more sense. I also think the private startup investments I have in the next 4 or 5 years can really turn out to be big. They could also go to zero, but those I would use to liquidate to actually put a down payment on a house. I wouldn't want to sell Palantir, Nvidia, and Robinhood right now to like make a down payment on something that, quite frankly, is just not going to return what the market can return. So that to me is why it's not that exciting. Why do you need a luxury apartment? Well, I want a luxury apartment. Like this, like, I'm not really that materialistic, but if I'm moving out on my own for the first time, first of all, I want it to be like a podcast studio, right? So I want it to be like a really nice place for guests to come, especially if we're near New York. B, it's like, I think I don't know how many years I will have to be like a bachelor. And I'm thinking it's like the next 4 to 5 years. So I kind of want to live it up, to be honest. I want it to like be fun. And that I'm willing to sacrifice money on and let go of a little bit of my financial literacy here, because you only have one life, right? You only have one life. And so, if you get the next 4 to 5 years to really like have that dope spot in your late 20s, early 30s, that to me is pretty cool. And I never had that, like in college, I lived in a dinky apartment. Now college was super fun because you're, living on your own and all that stuff, but like, it wasn't like, it wasn't like living it up in terms of some great apartment. So I don't know, for the next couple of years, even if I lose money on it, I don't really care. First of all, the tax write-offs as a result of having an apartment are definitely very beneficial, and that's going to be important. There are still a lot of capital gains from 2024 that I need to at least expense some stuff against. But also it's just like, you don't get that many times in life to kind of to live that experience. And that's another reason I'm doing it as well. Palantir's up right here after hours, up 2.74. Everything's up, dude. Nvidia's up 1.5. I'm not really buying it. I'm happy that we're pumping overnight. I don't really know if it makes sense, given that China, by the way, just said that the China Commerce Ministry just came out with a statement, and they said they basically gave a middle finger to Trump. They're like, we are not freaking capitulating anytime soon. Now, granted, that's what they have to say, but yeah, I don't know how easy it is for the market to just pump if the tariffs are going to go into effect. Like if we're going to get 104% tariffs, it really doesn't feel like we need to be pumping. Now, granted, yes, is the market ridiculously oversold? 100% agree. And if we avoid a recession, are these prices incredibly cheap? Yeah, I mean, some names you could still say are expensive, but there's a lot of names that are very attractive. However, if the tariffs go into effect the way Trump said they're going to go into effect, unless there's some delay, maybe the market thinks there's going to be a delay, and that's why it's a little bit of a kind of like preemptive pump on the fact that Trump's going to delay this stuff. But if not, I don't really understand the reasoning for the pump. I don't hate it though. Nice to see it. But yeah, it is going to be something we have to see over the coming weeks with what happens with tariffs, and really in the coming days when a lot of this ends up playing out. How much did Grab pay you to cover this event? Not enough to buy a house, apparently. Dude, I don't think these guys know who I am. I'm 27, for those who are asking. For like everyone's like, oh, Grab pays them it, Grab knows them. Dude, I don't think Grab gives a flying fuck about like you would think if they knew who I am, they would reach out, they would send an email, they would say, hey, Amit, we've seen you've been covering our company yet. Nothing, bro. I don't think they care. I really don't. And I think it's because they've never really cared about shareholder value or engaging with like a retail investor base. Like I don't think they have any idea about what that means. The only two companies that have really pulled that off are Palantir and Robinhood, and because they understand and they know how to execute having a meaningful relationship with retail. And Vlad and Karp are just rock stars, right? So they understand how to like talk to retail and how to just be cool, have that persona. I don't know if Grab really understands any of that stuff. But that's okay. They don't need to be a Silicon Valley company. They just need to be them. Eventually, the numbers, stock prices will follow free cash flow. Free cash flow is exploding for Grab. The stock price hasn't followed. That's okay. Every analyst has a price target of 625 or 650. Like conviction on the name and the belief that they can be who I think they can become is not something I need more of. It's more so just a question of the numbers continuing to prove the thesis, which over time, hopefully that plays out. But yeah, I don't think they know who I am, dude. I really don't. that weekend in February when freaking Grab was like going crazy viral on Twitter. I don't even know if the Grab people even knew about it because they haven't tweeted on any of the social accounts in years. So their marketing team is much more oriented in that region. I don't think they really care about investors, retail investors like that. But regardless, I do believe the company can continue to excel. All right, cool. So what do we talk about for the next 7 hours? We got the market open at 8:45, so we do have a lot of time. Do we call Steve? What do we do? We got a lot of time, bro. I wasn't kidding. You guys are going to be here with me till freaking 8:45 a.m. So we got to find some stuff to talk about. Dude, we are really pumping. We're like really pumping overnight, dude. These futures are aggressive. Steve's probably writing an article. Yeah, his Tesla article got a decent amount of attention. What were you guys doing when you were watching the event tonight? Were you just like bored? Like, how many people did you guys really care enough to watch the event, or did you just watch me like eat my hoodie the whole time while I was? My mom hates when I do this, bro. Like, when I do this, my mom hates it so much. Like, she hates it so much. Ever since I was a kid, she just hated when I did that. I still do it though, but she hates when I do that. Yeah, what were you guys doing tonight? Watching you nibble your thumbs. Yeah, exactly. David says treadmill and massage chairs at the gym. Okay. I was watching Florida win. Okay, so you were definitely watching the game. You didn't even care about Grab. Reading the chat the whole time. Amit, do you think China will retaliate against Trump retaliation? Yes, I do. I think they are going to go at it until one of them capitulates. I don't know who it's going to be. Trump has a big ego, but there will be a deal eventually. But there's going to be a lot of hoopla before we get a deal. They called Chris Kamala Patel. Yo, you guys are giving Chris way too much shit for not liking this whole Trump stuff, dude. Now, granted, Chris brings it on himself by saying, I hate Trump. I wish I never voted for him, yada, yada, yada. Like, Chris sometimes takes it to a little bit of an extreme. And I don't know. I think Chris just like triggering people or whatever. But like Chris today, bro, he said, I don't know if America is going to be the world's biggest superpower in 15 years. You can make that argument. It's just the way he said it. There was like so much conviction. He's like, yeah, America is not going to be the superpower in 15 years. And I was like, wait a second. Like, look, I don't like what Trump's doing either, but I don't think America is going to lose our dominance in 15 years. I hope not. But you guys give him way too much shit, bro. You guys give him way too much shit. He did buy the Kamala contracts for the election betting. So he did have some money on Kamala winning. And he was pretty public about that. He voted for Trump, but he thought Kamala would win the election. That didn't end up happening, even though a lot of people might have wanted that to happen right now. But like, I hate that argument too, because like, we don't know what Kamala would have done, bro. Like, EPS minimum would have fell 4% because of her increased taxes. That was from Bank of America. So like, you already have that headwind. And then you don't know what else could have happened, right? What other policies she could have. Now, maybe they wouldn't have been as crazy disruptive as tariffs, but the business environment, Lena Khan, FTC, Google might have gotten broken up. Like, there's just so many counterfactuals that could have happened with the Harris administration that could be just as worse as these tariffs. And so, people saying that you voted for this, like, come on, bro, that's a little childish. You just don't know how it would have played out either way. One tweet that was really funny the other day is that it was a picture of all the billionaires, Elon, Zucks, etc. And they lost like $500 billion combined in the past 3 days. If they had just paid the wealth tax that Kamala was introducing, they would have collectively paid $36 billion. I thought that was hilarious because it's like, even if they just paid the damn wealth tax, which I think is absolutely insanity, taxing unrealized gains. But let's just say they did that. They would have lost $36 billion. With this downturn, they lost $500 billion in their net worth, which is crazy. And it just goes to show you how bad the downturn has been on the whole market, back to 2022 levels on the S&P. It's crazy. But that is what we've experienced. Is Google still getting broken up? No, because I think a lot of people in the Trump administration realize how important AI is. There was a report today that Trump said every federal agency needs a chief AI officer. I would imagine Doge is probably being the one to like really institute that, which also screams Palantir in my opinion. But I think Trump's going to let Google be Google and Meta be Meta because there's too much AI dominance that we need to sustain over antitrust concerns right now. Like antitrust is not as relevant as not letting China beat us when it comes to AI. So I think that's important. All right. I think that's it. Unfortunately, we will not be staying awake until 8:45. One day we're going to do a 24-hour stream. I want to do it in the new apartment, bro. When we move out, I want to do like a full on, I want to have a bunch of guests. I want to make it super fun and like really do a 24-hour finance stream, which I don't think a lot of finance YouTubers have done before, but I think that would be super cool. And in the new apartment, we got to do that. So eventually that's gonna happen. Dude, I have a lot of different ideas for streaming. Like I have so many different ideas, but the harsh reality of streaming is you need your own spot to do it in. Like you like if you really want to take it to the next level, you need your own place. Like yes, I have my own room in this house and I'm very grateful for that, but you need your own studio. You need your own vibe, you need your own place. You need to be very close to where people can take a 10-minute Uber ride and come over. Like if content wants to be the sort of next level that I really think I can take it to, that's the other big reason I want to move out. It's like not even that I want to like officially move out. It's just like I need my own spot to really do it without having to worry about it. Like no one's gonna come to the middle of the suburbs in New Jersey to do a stream. Like just like no one cares. Like, you know, it's like you can't find this place on a map. There's fucking rabbits, you know, jumping around, hopping out. Like this is the most suburb of suburb places, bro. Like this is not where you really go hard and build entertainment. It's a good spot to begin. And obviously because the streams are just me and the camera every single day, you don't really need much. But if you want to start getting guests and bring props and just make it more fun, I think you need your own spot. So that is I think I'm moving out as an investment for my career more than anything, dude. Like I really don't even think of it as like an expense, even though it is an expense. I more so think of it as like, here's how we continue to advance. You got to be in the city. No, but I think you can get the same effect by being close to the city. You can be very close to the city without having to be in this. I wouldn't want to live in New York, dude. I want to actually drive my Tesla around. Okay, I can't have my Tesla in New York. Second of all, the taxes in New York are just stupid. And third of all, it's like, it's New York, bro. There's not going to be enough space. Like in Jersey, what I could pay $4 or $5 grand a month for in rent, in New York, I would get like maybe a third of that, maybe half of that. So I think I can get the same impact of being in New York without being in New York. But I got to find out. Also, I don't even want to begin the process of trying to find an apartment in New York, bro. That's I can't. I'm already stressing finding it in Jersey. Like trying to move in New York, that'll be too much. Dude, I seriously thought about Miami, but I realized like at the end of the day, New York and finance is just way too tied together. Miami is just like, it's not the types of people that I want to talk to. They're not really, you know, the finance people, they're not really in Miami. Like there's a decent chunk of the finance community there. And I know the tech scene is growing, all that stuff, but A, I just love being on the Northeast. There's something about it that I've always loved. And then B, it's just New York. It's like being close to that energy to me has always been important. But we're definitely doing the Miami meetup this year after the Toronto and Houston meetup, most likely. And then we got Vegas and SoCal later in the year. So yeah, we're definitely doing Vegas. Shout out to Vegas Tesla family. I think we might be doing Vegas in September, to be honest, over October. So October might be SoCal instead of Vegas. I thought September would be SoCal, but yeah, LA might be in October and Vegas might be in September. But I'll give more details when we get closer. Hello from Japan, 1979 Beery. Thank you for being here. Hello from Japan. Thank you for being here. You know, I've seen a lot of these. I've been watching these like Japanese YouTube shorts of like the way they make food there. I think I've showed you guys like those fluffy cakes and all this stuff. There's been a lot of these you know the thing I've been binging on YouTube, bro, in YouTube shorts. The thing I've been binging. You guys are gonna hate me for this. Okay, without being crazy in the chat, what do you guys think I'm binging on YouTube shorts right now? What do you think I'm To be realistic, right? Like, what do you think I'm watching? Tomer says it's incredible in NYC, but the city is insane and the apartment amenities aren't there if you aren't willing to pay $6K for a 1-bedroom. Yeah, see, like $6K in New Jersey, you can get 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and you can get a whole, luxurious experience. So if I'm gonna pay $6K, I'd rather do it in Jersey. Naval podcast clips. That's funny. Back in 2018, yes. But I mean, I don't really listen to like the self. I used to have this like did anyone have the self-motivation phase where they were listening to all these like motivational Tony Robbins, all these people? Like I had that phase in 2018, and I think it lasted until the end of 2020. And now I just like, if I come up on a clip and someone's telling you how to like change your life and like be inspired, I'm just like, ugh, like I don't give a fuck, dude. Like it's just like, I don't know. It's a totally different. Like in 2018, I would have been hooked to it. Like, what advice does this person have to tell me about how it can make my life better? Now I'm just like, get this fucking idiot out of my face. Like, because I think you get old enough to a point where you're just like, I just need to go do whatever I'm trying to do. I don't need to be motivated by like some 60-second motivational speaker, But 6 years ago, I would have eaten that shit up. Like I love that stuff. But now I'm just like, I don't care. You probably watch yourself talk. Okay, yes, I watch myself talk too, but not on YouTube Shorts. ASMR mukbangs, that's very close, but you're not there. I'll give you a hint. It's close to ASMR mukbangs, but that's not it. It's not tariffs. I try to escape the stock market at least a little bit from YouTube Shorts. How to do your own manicure and pedicure, that's also a good guess. I haven't got to that side of YouTube Shorts yet. That's a good suggestion, though. I should get there. David says that's how I feel about your videos. Okay. I've been obsessed with watching people grill steaks. I have been like, I think I've watched like at least a couple hundred of these videos of people grill steaks. And my conclusion is medium rare is still disgusting. And I've like Max the meat guy, all these experts, I've like watched all their videos. They swear by medium rare. And I'm watching it and I'm like, you're eating a living cow. And you're like, you feel like it's no big deal. And like, so my conclusion is medium well. I'm right about this shit. Everyone else is wrong about it. And I've been watching a lot of these steak YouTube channels grill a steak every day. And I really enjoy watching the content. But obviously I don't agree with their conclusion that medium rare is the route to go. So I've been watching a lot of this stuff, dude. That's another reason I want to move out. I want to become a chef, bro. I want to start fucking cooking. I want to have my own kitchen and just cook, bro. I want to start cooking steak. I want to start cooking lobster. Like I want to start doing all this stuff based on what I've been seeing on these cooking shorts. I mean, why do you have to choose violence before going to bed? It's not violence, dude. It's just like, it's violence when you eat like medium rare. I don't get it, bro. And then some people eat rare. Like I saw rare steaks and I'm just like, and like the guy was eating it and I'm like, I don't get it, dude. I really don't get it. Like it's not cooked. Medium rare is also not cooked. Medium's kind of cooked. Medium well. You still have some pink in medium well, by the way. You still have a little bit of pink. But medium rare, it's just, I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, yeah, that's what I've been obsessed with on shorts. It's been steak videos. Amit, can you rap? I tried to be a rapper when I was 15. I had a group. I don't think I ever told you guys this. I had a group called Swavy Boys. Swavy with a V and then Boys with a Z. And we made a mixtape. We had a sleepover one day. We made a mixtape at my house. We thought we were pretty cool, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Freshman year, we come out with a mixtape. Like, we were pretty cool. Like, the people were like, oh, those are the Swavy Boys. But yeah, then eventually people stopped caring about. Yeah, it was a legit boy band, bro. Like, I'm not gonna die and leave this planet without saying I tried everything. I had the boy band. We did it. Now, it wasn't guitars and drums, but I was on my freaking garage band programming. I was acting like the producer. Like, we did our thing. We it didn't end up going mainstream, but it was a fun time. Yeah, exactly. Eminem has no Rap God 2013. That's when that song came out. When that song came out, dude, and Eminem came back from his 5-year hiatus with Rap God. That was a crazy song, and that also inspired a lot of people as well. Drake also inspired a lot of people back because Take Care, which is I think his best album ever, that came out when I was in high school, so that was a big deal for a lot of people as well. Okay, cool. I think that's it. I think we officially end it. Dude, we're gonna do another one of those Saturday night streams where we just chill. I've been meaning to do it, but every Saturday I get busy, so we got to do one of those Saturday night streams where we just talk and react to videos and fun stuff. The longest stream I've done, I think, is 7 hours. I think it was the election night, to be honest, but I think we went longer than that before. I gotta check on my analytics. I think we've cracked 7 hours before, but we'll do that easily in the new apartment when we really start streaming more fun streams, not just market open, market close. I think we can definitely do a lot more fun stuff. But yeah, we just got to get the studio and all that stuff and get that done. But we'll do the Saturday stream, maybe not this Saturday, but eventually the chill Saturday stream. I'm still working on the Toronto stuff, dude. To be honest, the reason I didn't plan it over the weekend is I was thinking about stocks too much. I just think sentiment was so bad over the weekend, and I was talking to a lot of people, calling a lot of people. Quite frankly, I don't even know if people still cared about doing a meetup with sentiment being as bad as it is. But I think in general, an event that would get people to stop thinking about the markets, like a meetup, I think would actually be pretty cool, even if the markets are shit by the time we do the meetup. So I think as a form of escapism, it could be super fun for people. But over the weekend, dude, it was just so bad on Twitter. Everyone was just dreading the Sunday futures, and obviously we saw what happened. So yeah, I didn't even really focus on planning anything. I did look at some flight prices though. They're pretty cheap. They're like $200, $250. So round trip is nothing crazy. And so yeah, we should get more details on that pretty soon. So April 25th, basically the 24th to the 27th. We're thinking of the Canada meetup, 24th to 27th. So if you're in Toronto, 24th to 27th, that's what we're thinking of. We will definitely do another New York City meetup, probably latter half of the year. The first one in January was awesome. It was super fun. I know exactly where to do it again. So yeah, we'll definitely do New York City, probably October, September, November, around that time. Maybe even August, bro. Maybe even end of August would actually be fun going into the fall. So yeah, we will definitely do New York City again. Swavy Boys is going to be the answer to a future Emit trivia question, guys. Y'all remember that is true. Next time I do a giveaway, the OGs that were here at 11 at night, you guys have heard that answer. You ever coming to LA? Yes, most likely October, November. There's a lot of people in SoCal. We've been to North Cal a lot of times, but a lot of LA people. I haven't been to LA in a minute. I mean, last time, actually, no, it's a lie. I went to LA last year in June. But before that, I think it's been a couple of years. So I would definitely be excited to go back to LA. And so we'll do it again. Yes, Europe was happening. France with the Robinhood event, most likely, if that is still happening, which I believe it is, in June, and then the UK likely with it. Dude, I did see that headline the other day though of some UK lady. She went to jail because she put out some tweet about I don't know. She put some tweet out about what was the tweet? It was a tweet that was targeted at a certain race of people. That's all I remember from the tweet. And she got 3 years in jail. And it's obviously maybe not the friendliest tweet in the world, but 3 years in jail for putting out a tweet. I mean, dude, the shit I see in American Twitter, the shit they say, that the freaking messages I get of people kill yourself, all that, people talk about hate speech. It's very rampant in the United States. But I would not wish my worst enemy to go to jail because they said a bad word on Twitter. So that's it's obviously, if we go to the UK, it just got to be a little, I can't be easily saying everything I say. I just got to watch what I tweet there. But yeah, I definitely would still love to go to the UK. Did you see the clips of iShowSpeed in China? Yes. Yes. I saw a lot of those clips. I mean, the thing about iShowSpeed in China, dude, he's like the biggest streamer in the world. I think the CCP is manipulating his influence by showing the positive aspects of China, which is what the CCP does when any American entertainer comes to the nation. But he is showing off some really cool tech in China. It's just, you know, I think the CCP is very happy that someone who can get millions of people watching him live is showing off all the good parts of China, which is what tends to happen here. It was a really bad tweet. Yeah, look, I didn't dive that deep into the story, but like, it probably was a really bad tweet. I just still think, bro, I mean, like, putting people in jail for that, I don't know. It's like, I'm a free speech absolutist, bro. I am pretty damn free speech oriented. The only people we ban in the chat are people that are constantly spamming or just like being ridiculous, right? With what they're saying, the crypto coins, all this stupid stuff. Like, other than that, you guys can really say whatever you want. So to me, it's like, I'm really big on free speech. And I don't know, putting people in jail for saying some really violent stuff, like I don't know. It's just, it's weird. If they do that in the United States, I mean, there would be an uproar, dude. Like, they would, like, could you imagine trying to find people who say, like, even I say, look, I don't think I've said anything crazy, but I've said like Trump is stupid before. I probably said that on Twitter. Like, is that hateful? You know, like, is that like the problem with me is, how do you define hate speech? I mean, the shit that Tom Lee gets today, like, I saw a lot of people just giving Tom Lee a ton of shit, right? And they've given him a ton of shit because he's been bullish, and now we're going a little bit more bearish, and people are upset. They're pissed off. They're losing money. So what do? They take it out on the guy they see on CNBC every day. I mean, the amount of hurtful things that I've seen people say about Tom Lee today, do they deserve to go to jail for that? You know, I don't know, dude. It's a little aggressive. But again, the United States is more unique in terms of how much we value the First Amendment, whereas other parts of the world, they just don't. And so it's something that obviously I would have to adapt to in terms of the culture. You don't make the cultures change to you. You can critique the cultures all you want, but at the end of the day, you ultimately have to adapt to it if you're traveling as well. So Tom Lee will still be right. Well, that's the thing, bro. I think he's like, dude, I am not super bullish on this tariff strategy, but are we really thinking next year, like, we're at these prices, barring we don't get a recession? Like, do we really think we're going to be trading at some of these multiples that we're trading? Like, if earnings growth continue, even if earnings growth moderately declines by 3 to 4%, we are still outperforming most of the expectations people had a couple of years ago when it came to earnings growth. And then AI as a tailwind with productivity. Like, I don't think we have to be at these levels a year from now. Now, obviously, it's been a couple of years since we felt 2022, where 2022 was a full year of declines, and there were many dead cat bounces in there. So maybe tomorrow's another one of those, but I don't know. I feel like if the tariff stuff is delayed, if it's not exactly implemented the way Trump's implementing it, we should be okay. If it is, then I don't know what happens. And I think there could be a really logical argument for a recession at that point. And the Fed can cut rates, but that's not necessarily going to help. So we're going to have to find out over the coming days. April 9th, we'll definitely know a lot more. Tomorrow, we should know a lot more if they give us a delay or not. But I do think Tom Lee's going to be right long term as well. Amit, when do you start selling covered calls on NVIDIA? Realistically, I would wait for 115 if it gets back there. I'm not that confident it gets back there, but I'm not confident enough to sell a covered call at this moment either. I did buy 5 shares of NVIDIA today. I bought 5 shares of Hood, 5 shares of NVIDIA, and then I bought a bunch of Grab today. So, yeah, I didn't buy a ton, but like, to me, I'm just thinking, like, all right, so at what point does the thing rally enough where there's a meaningful opportunity to sell covered calls? But also, at what point should I be worried more about collecting premium because the stock is going to be stuck in the gutter, and I'd rather at least collect some premium than not? So I don't know. NVIDIA, I believe I bought in the 97, 98 range, Hood at 35, and then Grab was at 344. I don't think I got the exact bottom on Grab, but 344. I bought some Grab options in my Roth because I forgot I had some extra cash in my Roth. So I bought the $10 call for June 2027 in my Roth. It's not Jan 2027, June 2027. So I bought some of those contracts as well. I think I'm buying a lot of time, dude. I mean, I think June 2027 is 2.5 years. Like I think I'm buying more than enough time at this point. And it doesn't have to get to $10. I think if we rebound to $5, $6, those contracts will be worth more than what they were today. So hopefully we caught the bottom on it. We don't know. I do think the other thing about Grab is that I think there's a margin of safety now at 350. Like, what are we going to trade at 70% cash? You know, like I do think at some level there's a little bit more room to get excited for a lot of these stocks, but especially the stocks that have been beat up as badly as they are right now. Do you max out your Roth? Yeah, but I didn't max it out this year. It's like 7,500. I think I put in like a couple grand in my Roth, so I didn't max it out yet. I'm gonna max it out towards the end of the year, and I'll also be maxing out my solo 401k, which has a lot of tax benefits as well. So, why does Nate come in just to say go to bed, bro? Nate, I'm streaming with the audience that I'm talking to. So maybe you should go to bed, or maybe you should not click on the thumbnail when you see it in YouTube, but then you realize you have to because you love me. Nate's been following since 2022. Dude, Nate's an OG of the channel. Nate's been watching my Palantir videos early. I think he was like one of the first 1,000 subscribers. He was pretty early to the channel. So is Davis, if he's still in here. So it's nice of Nate to join us now. Yeah, there he is. There's Davis. Davis always has to say some gay shit to Nate, of course. That's how they are. That's how they are. Amit, what are your predictions on Palantir? I don't know. I hope we can maintain these levels. I mean, dude, again, we saw 66. But look, I think I'm winning the debate with Steve. Steve's argument is Palantir can fall independent of the macro. My take is Palantir will only egregiously fall. I know it's expensive. I'm not defending the valuation. I'm just saying, based on my analysis of the company, I think they only fall back to that 40-50 range if the whole market falls. And literally that's what's been happening. The only times we got Palantir anywhere near the levels where, you know, you would get excited for, like 65.40, which is not the most exciting level. I think 60 or 55 is a bit more exciting, but still it's like one of the best discounts we've had all year. It immediately reverses with the market as the market goes higher. And the reason it got there was because the S&P 500 was down 4.5% at 9:45 this morning. So to me, it's like the only way you can expect Palantir to get back to 40-50 independent of the market is if they fuck up on earnings. And I think they're going to have one of the best quarters they've had in their history. So I think I don't think they're going to go down because of them making a mistake. They will go down if the macro goes down. And if they do make a mistake, it would have to be an egregious earnings, which I think Harp's going to put up some big boy numbers. And I think they're gonna execute. Lowered guidance. I don't think they're gonna. Well, okay. So lowered guidance would happen if the tariffs are that detrimental to their overall, like growth trajectory. Which, I mean, look, I'm not saying Palantir's insulated from tariffs. Obviously, if SaaS spending goes down across the board, that can affect them. But I don't think that stops them from growing 30% this year. I really don't. I mean, it would have to be, and that would be surprising too, because you would think in times of volatility like tariffs, that should help Palantir. It should be a tailwind for them, get more customer inbound, all that stuff. If they say that SaaS spending is going down across the board, if ServiceNow says that, Adobe says that, Intuit says that, then that's an issue with the SaaS sector. Maybe Palantir is punished, but not punished as much because the whole SaaS sector would be punished. But again, that wouldn't be Palantir independently getting hit. I think that would be a sector itself getting hit. And obviously that would be not the best thing for their margins either. Yeah, like I feel like companies would want to maximize their use of navigating tariffs. Palantir actually put out some big article the other day about how to navigate tariffs. Also, I'm doing a Twitter Spaces with Chad and Iliano, who are Palantir employees, probably Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to be talking about tariffs as well and just like the way businesses can be navigating tariffs. So yeah, I don't think they reduce guidance. I hope not. Good thing Palantir international growth has been shit regardless. Yeah, so any level of increased growth on international also is something that I think the street would be excited about. Nate says, "Make get on your knees and beg for them to hire me. I'll give you a back scratch." I'd rather have Davis give me a back scratch than you, Nate. But anyway, no, Nate, if you're serious, bro, like actually, like send me your stuff, bro. I can put in a word with whoever I know. But if you're serious, let me know. Getting a job at Palantir is hard, bro. It's really fucking hard. It's not easy. But they're also really like lenient with how they hire, meaning it's hard to get a job, but if you do something creative to get their attention, like Chad has told me this many times, it's like he will pick the random kid that makes a YouTube video about like some new thing they built, even if it's like a small little app on Foundry and AIP, and then finds a creative way to get Chad's attention to watch the video over the Ivy League graduate, you know, any day of the week, because they just care about people that actually take shit into their own hands and like go out there into the world and try over the Ivy League graduate, you know? So I think if you do want to get a job at Palantir and you're in software engineering, it's like you just got to be creative with how you communicate with, and they're so public. There's so many employees that are public. Like it's not hard to get their attention. It's just finding a way to stick out from everybody else that's out there. I know 2 software engineers who work in DC for Palantir, insanely smart. Yeah, dude. Every engineer I've met at Palantir, I think I've met at least 10 or 15 of them. They're so smart, like just so unbelievably smart. And they're good communicators too. Like usually engineers kind of like not the best at communication. Maybe I've only met the best of the best ones that have a lot of different parts to them that are really well-rounded. But, you know, engineers that can communicate an idea, I think are just like, they become 10x engineers in terms of their value to the enterprise. And so Palantir is a bunch of them that, and it makes sense because they do the boot camps with the engineers. They don't hire salespeople. You got in the boot camps, you got the engineers selling it at the end of the day, which is really important. Now, Matt, you are the furthest thing from a poor communicator as an engineer. Matt Money, freaking thousands of videos, live streams. Like Matt knows how to talk, especially he knows how to talk about the stock market. But I've met engineers before that are just like awkward, bro. Like socially, like you try to like have a conversation and they just can't talk. And I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like you can't, like, why are you so like, but then I realize it's because like they're so like into coding all day. They don't like know what it means to like actually communicate. And it just makes you less valuable, you know, to a company. So that communication part is definitely important. Definitely very important. Yeah, whoever was buying those $60 puts, I mean, so far, look, we got a long month left, but they have not necessarily played out. Let me check the volume on those. So $60 April 25th. Now, again, a lot of them already appreciated a lot in the past week, so you could have seen some people sell. Wow, dude. Open interest, 142,000. So that's down from 193,000. Volume is 17,000, which is definitely down from the 100,000 we saw last week. So you definitely had some people probably exit. I mean, this thing over the past week is up 200%. Yeah, I mean, you definitely had some people either today or Friday take their gains. Look at that. 200% in the past week. Do you see this? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, look, you make 200% in a week on a put, and the stock is still heavily above your strike. I mean, that's not a horror. And the expirations in like freaking 20 days. That's not a horrible idea. Amit, are you back on the gym grind? Yes. So gym and food. I've been really good with food over the past couple weeks. I'm down about 5 pounds. I really want to be down about 20 pounds over the next couple months. And I think I can get there, especially because I think a lot of this weight is already excess weight that can easily come off. So, and I haven't been doing that much cardio, to be honest. At the gym, I've been doing more lifting, not cardio, because I'm starting to hate cardio. Like, dude, if you knew me 2 years ago, I loved cardio. Like, I loved running so much. I loved being on the freaking treadmill for like literally hours. Now I hate it. And you know, I actually have a reason for why I hate it. But before I get to that, but with food, I've been really good. Like no fast food, no bullshit, just like eating really well. And I think that's been showing up in the numbers of pounds lost as well. But in the context of the gym, I think I've gotten to the point where I am so ADHD about my mind, just thinking about the world, that when I'm on the treadmill, I can't keep a consistent thought about just running. Like what I did 2 years ago is I would put on music and I would run for like an hour, right? Literally an hour, right? I would take like maybe 3 or 4 1-minute breaks, or we'll call it 2-minute breaks. So so 10 minutes I'd be walking, but the other 50 minutes intense speed 7.5 running. I legit did this for, I would say, a good 5-6 years of my life, all throughout college. Like I loved running. I loved cardio. Now I'm on the treadmill and I can't stop thinking. I legit can't stop thinking. Like I'm thinking constantly. And I want to check my phone constantly as well. And you can't really check your phone when you're running. Like it's not that comfortable. But even if I don't check my phone, it's like to pay attention to just getting through the run. I've given up, bro. I've gone to the gym many times this year and I get ready to get on the treadmill. And within 5 minutes, I'm like, dude, I cannot focus on running. It's really, and I'm telling you, it's a mental thing. It's not a physical thing because I love running, but it really is a mental thing. So then I just decided all right, I'm going to just do the sauna, lift weights. I'm like, I'll get the exercise in. I haven't been as consistent as I want to be this year, obviously with all the traveling, but getting back to it. But the idea of running every day, dude, I hate it. I really can't stand the idea of doing it. So it's weird. And I kind of don't like that because I want to get back, because I loved running years ago. I really enjoyed it. Even biking, bro, even on the bike machine, I don't know. It's just a weird, maybe this is me just saying I don't like cardio anymore, which is weird. It's because if you knew me a couple years ago, all I did was cardio. I would go to the gym. I wouldn't even lift a weight. I would just do cardio. I loved cardio. Walking is the best. Yeah, I still go out for walks. After the market open, I'll go for a 30-minute walk and stuff. So I think I get my steps in throughout the day, but it's not the intensity of the steps that I got years ago when I would dude, I would burn 1,000 calories in a 1-hour session of running. And when you burn 1,000 calories, you can really build up a caloric deficit when you're burning 1,000 calories in an hour, and you can lose a lot of weight. I was 145 pounds October 2023. I was probably too skinny back then, but I lost a lot of weight. So to me, it's it's weird because I realized my lack of ambition to do cardio is not about me not wanting to be healthy. It's legitimately, this is one of the side effects of being so obsessed with social media and the markets. Is I cannot focus while I'm on the treadmill and running. I'm my mind is running in 1,000 different directions. And then when I'm running, it's it's hard to focus on just running or focus on the music when your mind is literally thinking a billion things. Which is why it's also hard for me to watch movies and stuff like that, right? It's just it's not the easiest. Maybe this is a stupid excuse, but I've just noted, this is the honest truth. This is just me being honest. I've noticed when I get on the treadmill or when I do any type of cardio, I can't stop thinking. And because I'm thinking so much, at some point, I'm just all right, I'm I can't do this anymore. This is too much. There's too much thinking while I'm trying to focus on one thing. It works really well when you're streaming and you're trying to focus on one specific topic and then talk about it and break it down and try to provide some analysis and really dive deep into it. But when you're trying to do something physical, it's a totally different mindset. Yeah, my mind is literally YouTube Shorts, bro. It's not the best thing in the world. I agree. It's not the healthiest thing, but I also know that this is the side effect of this career. It's I feel if you asked any financial YouTuber, you're just so obsessed with the news and content and communication and just being in the arena of creation, that other parts of your life definitely do suffer to an extent. And it's not the best. It's something I got to work up to be able to resolve. But I also think I'm young, and this is part of the grind, right? There's a certain level of grind, a certain level of sacrifice you have. And I know people think it sounds kind of stupid, oh, you're so obsessed with not even the markets, but the process of content creation, that other parts of your life, you can't separate yourself from that. But it's a real thing. It really is a serious thing where, because my day-to-day is so second by second driven, I don't know how to explain. Every freaking second I am thinking, about content at every second, right? Like, what do you post next? What do you create? How do you talk about this? Like, you got the market open in a couple hours. What are going to be the main headlines? Like, it is one of those things where, like, and I don't want to sound like I'm complaining or anything because I get to sit here and talk, which I'm very grateful and blessed for, but it is a level of commitment you have to have towards executing and creating content that people actually care about and that they enjoy. And that does affect other parts of your life. Like today, I was talking with my mom after the market closed, and I legitimately like put my phone to the side so I could just listen to her, because I knew if I have my phone in my hand, I'm not going to really be listening to what she has to say. And like, thankfully, I put my phone to the side for 5 minutes and I talked to her. You know, I talked to my mom about like her day versus like just being on Twitter scrolling while she's talking, right? And the way I could justify that is because I wasn't live. I didn't have to make any content, right? Like my entire day was pretty much done outside of Hood Weekly. And so I was able to like kind of detach myself and just like focus on something else. But obviously it's an incredibly big grind that you have to commit yourself to. Sokol says that's how you become great. I agree. I mean, like at some level, you also do have to become obsessed with something to become great, which is why if the side effect is me not being able to focus that much on like other things, I'll take that side effect any day. Like that side effect is whatever. Eventually, you know, we'll be able to navigate that. And I think that is a temporary small side effect for really trying to be aggressively good at what I'm trying to be good at. And it's just hard to explain if you've never like gone full-time creation, because and I talked about this a while ago, but the anxiety of losing all your momentum is constantly in the back of your head every day you wake up. I don't have a job where I'm guaranteed a salary and I can take some 6 days and stuff like that. Like like you're just on your own. You got to create, you got to figure it out. And the anxiety, and I think all entertainers to an extent go through this, right? Which is like all musicians, artists, is like, how do I keep creating and constantly take it to the next level? And with my job, it's a lot easier than like a musician, to be honest, because they have to be super creative and come out with good music that people want to listen to. For me, it's reacting to what's happening in the world from a geopolitical and stock market perspective. And yes, that it takes a level of talent to be able to do that, but it's also like the content's there. You just have to be able to synthesize and condense it. And given my debate background, it actually makes it relatively simple for me. It's not like the hardest thing in the world. I just really enjoy the process of it. But I can imagine for like Leo DiCaprio, what's the next movie, right? Matthew McConaughey, how do you like become better than you were? And at what point do you want to take a break because you don't think you need to do any movies? But if you take 5 years off, do people even forget about you as an actor, right? Like there's all this anxiety that comes with being a content creator. And I just think you have to get ridiculously obsessed with it if you want to build a career off of it, which I've been very grateful to be able to do. But like it could go away in a second. And I think the same thing is what something like the CEO's experience. Like, what if one quarter sucks, which inevitably it will? But what if 2 quarters suck? What if 3 quarters suck? What if you stop growing? What if your user growth slows down? I mean, like that, like they must be having intense amounts of anxiety every day. Obviously, they have a lot of people they employ to help them continue to grow. But like at the end of the day, the buck stops with the CEO. So I think in any creative field, there's just a certain level of anxiety that's necessary. But eventually, hopefully, the focus just leads you to a strong level of greatness. Okay, everyone's saying go to sleep. I should. All right, what time is, dude? Why is it 12:16 right here? Are we actually going to stay up till 8:45? Are we going to do it? It's only 7 hours left. It's not that crazy. Do you have any plans to visit Singapore? Yes, my uncle's in Singapore. Hopefully summer 2026. Hopefully summer 2026 will be in Singapore. I mean, even if you take a month off, all of us would still come back to watch it. Now, look, like I appreciate you saying that, but like it is a dangerous game with taking time off when it comes to content. Now, thankfully, I genuinely enjoy this. If you guys haven't figured it out by now, I love doing this. So when I do this, it doesn't feel like a job. It feels like I get to like truly do something that I want to do, and build a career off of it and take it to the next level. And I couldn't imagine not being live when something crazy is happening in the stock market, right? Like I want to create. But you take time off, you never know if you can come back as easily, if the algorithms will be as friendly to your content, because in this industry, you do have to work with the algorithms, right? Just like if you're an artist, you have to work with the record labels and the music distributors. And if you take 5 years off for making an album, is Spotify really going to pump your album when you come back? Have you built up the relevant audience that cares about your album? Like, there's just so many of those discrepancies, and I think there's a lot of time to rest when it's all said and done, but not like within year 4 of the journey, which realistically is year 2 from taking the streaming seriously, but it's year 4 of like being a creator, but year 2 of like really doing this. Yeah, Playboy Cardi. I mean, here's a perfect example, dude. This guy, I like his music. I'm not in love with it like his cult following is. He took 5 years off for making an album. The newest album, I might piss off some of you guys people, but it's trash. It's not a good album. It's a horrible album. Very bad album. There's like 1 or 2 good songs. You take all that time to then deliver whatever he delivered. I mean, you're gonna, you have a cult audience, but you're gonna get some fans that are just like, why'd you take that much time off to like not even deliver? And in this industry, it doesn't even make any sense because the news happens every day. That's the one good thing about being a financial content creator. Like, you don't really need to take off to get inspired. Like, you're inspired every single day. And Trump makes it really easy to get inspired to talk about what the hell's happening every single day, right? So it's more so a question of how committed are you to actually showing up in the morning, in the afternoon for Robinhood Weekly, because it's not hard to do it. Obviously, I'm downplaying when I say it's not hard. There's a lot of research, a lot of just like raw communication that you need to be able to have to do this, especially for multiple hours at a time. But it's not hard to show up. But most people, it's hard for them to actually show up 2 times a day, much less 3-4 times a day. But I think that's what really builds the momentum and the ability to like actually become as great as you want to be. With an artist, you don't build a connection like a YouTube creator, though. Yeah, that's true. With an artist, it's a very like, you can't just like talk to an artist in the chat, right? So there's a unique, I think there's going to be academic studies in the next 10 years around streaming and the parasocial relationship that is creating that is created with streamers and their audience, because I think there's the uniqueness of relationship and the intimacy of relationship that a streamer has with their audience is something like that I've never seen before, because you get to talk to them live, right? And there's a chat constantly. So like, it really is deeper than a lot of other forms of media, which is why I think streaming as a concept is growing so much. Yeah, exactly. Community is everything. I think this is the type of format of content where you can build a real community, like a seriously real community, not just like here's my community, but a community that actually cares about you, that enjoys the content, that wants to see you win, that you also can give back to, that you can have these, like the fact that we've had 2 meetups already and 150 people have showed up to those meetups. Like that's cool, dude. And I think we gotta keep expanding it, but it's here because a lot of the people that show up in the meetups are in the chat every day. So it's kind of just like an extension of the chat, right? Davis says, but you treat your community horribly and yet we're still here. No, Davis, that's just you. Okay, that's only you get treated horribly. Everyone else I deeply, deeply love. A community that doesn't need any coupon codes. Yes, exactly. Dude, I've had a lot of sponsors start reaching out because obviously the streams are growing, the numbers are growing, the views are growing, all this stuff. And it's just every time I'm like, nope, sorry, no. Even today, one of them reached out. They're like, dude, like, please, like, it's time. And I'm like, no, dude, I don't do sponsors. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So it's just funny because they're like really trying every day. And I'm like, it's the same answer as it was 2 years ago. It's literally one of them reached out today that reached out to me 2 years ago. And I told him, I got on the phone with the guy. I was like, dude, like, I appreciate what you're doing, but I'm not going to pump this shit on my channel. Like, this is like, I'm not, it's a cool product. It's not anything revolutionary or something, but I was like, no, and it's in the finance space, but I'm not selling out to anything. And then today they were like, so are you ready? I'm like, no, what like nothing has changed, bro. Like, I don't even think you guys would even take it seriously. They're like, hey guys, so like the next 30 seconds are sponsored by, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, Mitch, turn this shit off, right? Like at some point your audience also is just like, this is stupid. This is not who you are. Like, this is not the way to do it. And so, you don't need to, A, I don't want to do it. B, you don't want to force something on an audience that is not going to be conducive to it. Unless it's Grindr, right? If there's a Grindr sponsorship, I think you guys would take that seriously. But outside of that, it's not Robinhood. It's not a company that's like even remotely in Robinhood's level. But it's like they thought the answer changed after 2 years. I'm like, what changed? Like nothing has changed, dude. Like I told you why 2 years ago I wasn't going to do this, and it's the same thing right now. I really don't want to be associated with any other products for the sake of just like making a quick buck. Like that's not the right way to do it. But they're going to keep asking, I guess, as things grow. And it's the same answer. It's not Saratoga. Dude, people really thought I was sponsored by Saratoga. I did that to be funny. I thought that was funny. I don't even know where the bottle is anymore, dude. I feel like I threw it out or something. Like I cleaned my room over the weekend. It's not in my room anymore, so I don't know if it's thrown out. But yeah, they did not sponsor me. I don't think Saratoga necessarily cared about a YouTube finance stream or anything like that. It was not Palantir. Palantir doesn't sponsor people like that. It was another one of these finance products, bro. A lot of these people, they build these finance apps, and I don't know. I think if you build a finance product, you got to really build it with a real use case, even if it's for like a very small population of the finance community. You target them and you really go all in for them. But these like mass market like stock screeners and all this shit, like I'm just like, dude, it's so lame. Like it's like boring. It's not even fun. Like it's just not even a good product. So that's why it's just I don't know. It's not meaningful from a sponsor perspective. That bottle crashed the market. Don't bring it back. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Spencer says, can we see your hair before bed? Sure. So this is my hair. As crazy as it is. See, this is why I wear the hat, dude. It's wild, bro. Maybe I need to get a buzz cut, bro. Maybe I I don't know. Maybe I need a new style or something. I need to get a haircut soon, though. That'll probably happen soon, but it's wild, dude. And it's always in my eyes. And so that's why I wear the hat, to just get it out of the way. But a la Carp. Yeah, exactly. But Carp his hair is cool because it stays in one place, even though it's crazy. My hair doesn't stay in one. It's too straight. Like Carp's hair is curly and it stays in focus. Mine's is just all over the place. And that's why it's harder to easily just have it out. Bring back the beard, dude. I was looking at some pictures the other day of the beard. I don't know. There's part of me that has always wanted to bring it back a little bit. Maybe not anytime soon, but maybe towards the end of the year. I wouldn't mind bringing back the beard for a little bit. I need to lose some more weight though, because if you're a bit big and you have a big ass beard, you're just dude, you look like Santa Claus, bro. It's just back in 2022 when I was big before I lost a lot of weight and I had my big beard, bro. Some of you guys remember it. Nate probably remembers it. Nate remembers it, dude. My beard was like a Santa Claus beard on a brown guy who was a bit too big back in early 2022. And then by the end of 2022, I lost a lot of weight, but it's just too much, bro. Just way too much. So when you lose a little bit more weight and then you have the big beard, it's easier because you're you don't have a double chin and all that stuff. It's easier for it to look a little bit better. But yeah, back in 2022, I had a crazy beard. Have you guys seen the beard from 2022, dude? I don't think some of the new guys have seen it. The beard was I mean, I've said this many, many times, but my mom said I look like a terrorist. It's just that simple. And I was like, Mom, that's racist. And she was like, I don't give a fuck. You look like a terrorist. So, I mean, she quite literally, called me a jihadi and all that stuff. And she at some point, she really peer pressured me to just shave the damn beard. But it was pretty aggressive, bro. What's a good picture of the beard? What's a good picture? Man, I could just go to any of the YouTube videos from back then and show the beard. But yeah, here's one of them, dude. Look at this thing, dude. Look at this. Look at this beard. Does this guy not look like he's about to fucking blow up the Twin Towers or something? Just saying. I can make that joke, okay? I can make it. You guys can't. I can make it. I'm also not in the United Kingdom, so I can make that joke. If I made it in the United Kingdom, I'd be, in fucking jail right now. But it's a big beard, bro. It's a big fucking beard. It's a thick ass beard. I kind of miss it though. Look at this, dude. Look at this. This picture kind of looks kind of majestic though, doesn't it? Like, look at the hair, but like the beard is thick, bro. Like, bro blew up the market. I kind of want to bring it back though. I want to be skinnier and bring it back. I want to get my face to slim down a bit, which probably is like another at least 10 pounds that I got to get off. And then I want to bring it back. So who knows? Maybe by the end of the year. Maybe by the end of the year. I do look like a terrorist though. I'm just saying, like, I can say that. I'm the one who gets targeted. And I in middle school when all your friends are roasting you, I was the guy who was called Bin Laden. Okay. Like, so I'm allowed to make these jokes. I'm allowed to make these jokes. I had to deal with it fucking all through high school. Like, oh, there's the terror. Like this is just general roasting you have to deal with, especially in Jersey. Jersey kids know how to roast, bro. Jersey kids know how to roast. If you grew up in Jersey or New York, you know how to roast. If you grew up in like Alabama, I don't know, but if you had to fucking fight for yourself at the cafeteria table, you knew how to defend yourself with your words. But it looked pretty aggressive. So yeah, dude, my mom did not care, bro. My mom was like, I don't care how racist it sounds. You need to shave that shit off. And it took me a couple of years, and then I finally just shaved it off. But yeah, maybe we'll bring it back. Maybe towards the end of the year. All right, cool. That's it. I'm out. Thank you everybody for being here. Grab 2025 first ever product event. We'll see how the stock reacts tomorrow. If the stock is going to react at all, if not, then we will continue to see how these product announcements eventually implicate their earnings trajectory. Q2 earnings probably, or Q1 earnings probably, is at the end of April, early May. So we'll get a better understanding of where the company's financial health is when we get those earnings. All right, cool. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Love you all. I'll see you guys on the market open as futures continue to go green at 8:45 tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.